The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Friday, January 28th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us at the Benjamin Dixon Show. We're covering and watching quite a few stories. One in particular, we have kept our eyes on what's happening in Ukraine. Starting next week, we'll be speaking with Brother Terrell Starr. He is a Black man who is living in Kiev at this moment. He is an international foreign policy expert. We've had a chance to speak with him on the show before. A good friend of mine who is dissecting very closely what's happening in Ukraine in terms of the buildup. We've been keeping our eye on it while we have not spoken about it on the show. We have been keeping an eye on all of the developments, and we wanted to get perspectives outside of what you get on the normal news. Because on the normal news, as I discuss with different friends and colleagues of mine in this media space, there is there's a short-sightedness that is happening in the news, but it is still most certainly one of the most important issues of our day that's happening right in front of us. So we're going to begin that conversation next week, and we'll be bringing on a couple of foreign policy experts to help expound and get a good grasp, firm understanding of what's happening in Ukraine as the attention of the world is turning towards the potential buildup to conflict. I am always, my natural inclination is to always genuflect towards or to lean rather towards peace at all costs. But there is a conflict brewing, and we have to understand the nature and the nuances of it. And that's why we're going to bring in a couple of experts beginning next week. This morning, I am, as always, joined by my brother from another mother, none other than Dr. Carl Mack. And Dr. Mack, I don't know how much you're watching that in the background. One of the things is I had a chance to catch up with my mother, who watches, CNN and MSNBC and all the regular mainstream news outlets. And anybody who's paying attention, I guess, it's a ubiquitous situation. And it's definitely something that we need to at least understand what's going on in that region. And so good morning to you, and just letting you know that we're going to be having some guests coming in next week. And actually, one I wanted to speak to you about, a colleague of yours. But first and foremost, good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It is Friday, which means we get a couple of days. I was going to say for myself, I get a couple of days for the weekend. But, living a life like it's golden, like you are, Dr. Mack, you get to pull up to 18th Street hole, or so what'd you call it, 17-hole Baptist?
18-hole Baptist.
18-hole Baptist. I hear that. So that said, my weekend is getting ready to begin, but I thank you for always stepping in the mornings and sharing your wisdom and insight with us.
No doubt. Now, in regards to the actions of Putin, I think it's clear from most of us that Putin being on the doorsteps of Ukraine certainly is problematic in a number of areas. And it is clear to many folks that since the breakup of the Soviet Union, this has been part of his objective when you look at his actions in the past. And so one of the things that Putin has said is, obviously the Biden administration has said, look, let's sit down and talk about this. So Putin gives him a letter of demands that says, look, here are the issues that we need to sit down at the table. And at the top of that, one of the first things that Putin says to Biden is you have to agree that Ukraine would never be allowed to be in the United Nations.
NATO. Or NATO.
How in NATO? How in the world can when you come off? I would look at it this way: when I am in negotiations, if someone comes with something as absurd as that, that's telling me that they have no intentions of coming into this negotiations in a fair mind, and so you must be prepared to do what you have to do. And so what we now have to look at is, so what happens if Putin invades Ukraine? And the other part of that is Germany is allies with Putin. Now, you got to ask yourself, well, why would Germany align itself with Russia? Well, because Germany gets most of its fuel from Russia. Russia's biggest export, its most viable export, is its fuel. And that's where Russia, its oil. So that's where Germany gets its fuel supply is from Russia. So quite naturally, if that's where Germany is getting their fuel from, well, where do you think they're going to side? And so again, part of what you have to understand being a part of NATO and the likes is that you have to have a unanimous decision in that. And so if Germany holds out on that, the chances of Ukraine ever being a part of NATO is null and void. But beyond that, you to just put that on the table as one of the first demands that's got to be met in order for us to negotiate is insane.
Well, and so there lies a wonderful conversation that we'll begin having next week. And speaking of the gas pipeline, I'm thinking of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is at the core of a lot of the dissent that's happening. And dissent, I don't think even captures it. There's a buildup because of the oil pipeline, of the oil, period, like you said, along with the other geopolitical factors, including Russia's constant demand. They have had a really persistent demand that Ukraine never enter into NATO because of, well, Ukraine bordering directly with Russia. And of course, Russia being some of this I want to explore. I really want to unpack. I want to unpack all the sides of the conversation because there's another part of it. Well, let's save it. I want to save it because I want to make sure we have a couple of the guests that we're going to get on. And Dr. Mack, if you don't mind, I want to reach out to Captain Barnes on this one because of the geopolitical significance of it. And I want to make sure that we have as well-rounded of a conversation as we can, representing the various nuances, because there are people who are in Ukraine. And I followed this since the 2008 Orange Revolution. There are people in Ukraine who are fighting very hard to fight back against the push of Putin and the push of Russia reclaiming them at what one of my friends considers to be colonies. Terrell Starr, the one I was speaking to, I was listening to one of his podcasts on it and referring to the former colonies of the USSR. So there's a lot of nuances there. I want to make sure we have a fully fleshed out conversation because, it's not as easy for someone like me who looks at this and says, the United States, though, needs to stay out of it. That's my natural inclination. But simultaneously, I'm really fully aware of the people who are on the ground or the resistance that is on the ground who have been fighting for years. I mean, for years against the Putin regime, the poisoning of one of the Democratic or rather one of the resistance party members there in Ukraine. I mean, this is a long-rooted, deep history of conflict between Ukraine and Russia. And I want to make sure we have a full conversation. So we'll pick that up. Brother Mac.
One of the things, I want to say to our listeners is this. I get that this may seem very complicated. And so I think one of the things that being you and I should try to do is try to bring this story to our viewers in a way to say, why should the average brother or sister in D.C., Chicago, or Atlanta, or anywhere in the country, why should the average black man be concerned about who gives a damn about what Putin is doing with Ukraine? And so we want to try to let's try being to flush this out so that we can bring that perspective as to why we should care. And I'm saying that from a perspective, folks, that for a long time, that was my mindset. I didn't give a damn what Putin in Ukraine or Putin and anybody else was doing. If it wasn't germane to my existence, I didn't really care about it. That's right. And so, let us try and flesh that out. So I'm simply saying that is that I too, there are times even today that mindset would come in on me, and I just have to look a little bit deeper to find out why is it that I need to be concerned with it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. No, that is my natural inclination is not that one merely because of that's the field of study that I went to school on. But I understand that natural inclination. It seems so far removed. It really does seem so far removed from Black folks But, when we consider all the implications, even the usage of military equipment in Black communities, right? Those Humvees, those tankers, those smaller weapons that are used in conflict have now found their way into cities like Ferguson and across the country, being used in Black communities. That would be at least one string that I want Black folks to think about as we start this conversation.
Yeah.
I want to shift now to something that is a little odd, but it is present. According to reports, the U.S. economy grew at the fastest rate since the Ronald Reagan administration. The U.S. economy grew 5.7% in 2021, which is the fastest rate since Ronald Reagan's presidency. And this is according to different studies. The economy is doing good. If you listen to the markets, it seems like there's a lot of good that's happening financially. And this is in the backdrop, of course, of COVID-19. So not to wax poetically, but for a lot of people, this is the best of times. And Dr. Mack, for a whole lot of other people, is still the worst of times. But a significant boost for the Biden administration.
Well, I don't know if I would say that, because right now, that report, keep in mind, that report is talking about how the economy grew since the pandemic hit. And I will tell you that it was a learning curve of immense proportion for me to understand that. And I made investment moves based on a lack of understanding of this. And so I want to tell you exactly why the American economy grew during a pandemic. It doesn't make sense. I mean, if you think about it, Ben, if all of us think about it, when that pandemic hit, who was going to work? Who was going to work, Ben?
Essential workers.
The overwhelming majority of us were locked in. We were not going to work. So you have to ask yourself, if folks ain't going to work, products ain't being made, nobody is spending, how in the name of anything could the economy be growing? Who's buying gas? There were times during the pandemic, you could have filled up a tank of gas and then have to fill up for a month because you weren't going anywhere. So how is it that the American economy grew? I'm going to tell you exactly how it grew. Because the federal government, the Federal Reserves, did what they call quantitative easing. They did a couple of things. One is, if you go buy a car, you got a certain interest rate that you got to pay. Now imagine if they take that interest rate down to zero. That makes it far more attractive. So that's the first thing they did. To all these corporations, they took the interest rate down to zero. Then what they did was they started injecting into the economy trillions and trillions of dollars. So when you were getting those stimulus checks, now these trillions of dollars was going to companies all over the place. But then there was also the PPP loans that came. There were the stimulus checks that came. So just imagine, they showed the lines. Folks were getting their stimulus checks. Next thing you know, we out buying the latest Jordans, the latest everything. People are spending. You were getting more money being at home with the stimulus check than if you were working. So think about that. That is how that injection of an unbelievable, I'm not going to call it an absurd amount, but an unbelievable amount of liquidity being money, was injected into the economy. Even though we were locked down, staying in place, the only people that were out there working were these essential workers, but the rest of us are at home. And in many cases, we were getting stimulus checks far greater than if we were out working. Interest rates down at zero. We created what I would call a utopia, a perfect community for businesses. And that is how the economy was growing at a time when nobody was working. The federal government injected all this money. The Federal Reserve started lending all this money. We took interest rates to zero. We gave those people who were not working monies to say, you're going to have more money at home than if you go work. And then, Lord knows, now we're hearing about these PPP loans and people who were taking those loans, and now they're being held accountable for it. When you think about the amount of money that was artificially injected into our economy, that is why the economy grew during that time. at a quicker rate than at any other time.
I'm glad you broke it down like that because, the way I started this, the best of times, the worst of times, because for a lot of folks who are sitting on the sideline who may not have any money that they are aware of, in the markets to benefit from this, I think it kind of goes right back to the conversation we just had. Like, Brother Mac, for people who don't have any money in the markets and they didn't see any of the benefit except for, the stimulus check, the $1,600 check, and then whatever the checks, 45 or negative 45 sent out. Why would a person who does not have retirement, who, these essential workers who went out and worked during the pandemic, we're sitting back and looking at all of this wealth that's accumulated. And if they don't have a part in it, they may not think that this is pertinent to them. Why should a person who may not currently have anything in the markets be concerned or be interested in what's happening?
Well, because again, the easiest way, there are a lot of answers to it. And so at my core is this, you've heard me say many, many times before that I think that there are 4 components to a holistic education, which one of those components is training. That's what you get when you go to schools, colleges, universities, high schools, whatever. It's the training part. There's a spiritual component. You need to believe in something that's bigger than you. There's a cultural component. You need to be educated on who you are as a Black man, as a Black woman, Hispanic, whomever. You need to understand you from your cultural standpoint. And then the 4th component of a holistic education is the financial component. You need to understand what is going on in the world of money. Otherwise, you won't be managing your money. And even though we're no longer in chattel slavery, you will become a slave to the economy, to this working environment. So part of what there is to understand, you have to understand finance. And so by paying attention to it, now you're going to understand why there's spikes in gas prices when you have issues like what happened, what Russia is doing in Ukraine. Russia could, and these wars that go on in Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq, these are things that will cause gas prices to spike, and they will directly impact you. When you pay attention to what's happening in the economy, you go to the grocery store and all of a sudden you see a dozen of eggs that went up 30, 40 cents. That's right. Since the last time you was here. A loaf of bread is going up. Now you're beginning to understand what causes inflation. And again, who controls that? Well, in this case, there's a man named Jerome Powell, who is the chair of the Federal Reserve. So it is incumbent upon this group of individuals to keep their eye on the economy and then put interest rates in, ease interest rates in and out in a manner to keep inflation under control. But again, when you go back to this pandemic, they took interest rates to 0. And when they took them to 0, inflation got out of control. That's why you saw inflation spike at 7%. Now, the other thing that what we're having to understand when they talk about a good economy is because now it's like jobs are incredibly plentiful. Well, it should make sense to us why jobs are plentiful. There are some of us who are saying, look, I'm just not going back. If they're not going to let me work from home or whatever, I'm not going back. So now everybody is trying to come out of this thing. So jobs are plentiful. But now here's another thing that you should understand. Now, there's been the largest approval of unions since the 60s. Why is there, these young people today are leaning towards being unionized? For the very things that we're talking about, because these corporations are making an incredible amount of money, yet they're paying very little in salaries. And so people are understanding, wait a minute, there was a time when the unions, we could form together and unionize, and we can union and lobby for better wages. So now you're seeing that as these corporations, if you sit back and you listen to the fact that Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Zuckerberg, billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. I mean, this is an inordinate amount of money that, damn it, no one individual, it just doesn't make sense that they're going to have this much wealth. And you're the ones that's making, the workers are the ones that's making that happen, and you're paying them pittance. So now these workers are beginning to say, the hell with that program. We're going to form unions and we're going to come in for better wages. So why should you pay attention to what's happening on Wall Street? because this is the financial capital of the world, like it or not. And you need to understand what is happening in finance because it directly affects you. Just like now, they're doing studies on people who have gone to get master's degrees. Okay, by the time you go and get your master's, you may have a student loan debt of $100,000. They're doing studies now of people who have been paying on that loan for damn near 20 years. They've been paying on the $100,000 debt. Now they're down to $30,000 and they ask the question, was it worth it? And the people are saying in a very serious way, I'm so glad that I got my master's degree, but damn it, financially, it wasn't worth it. You think about that. You got a $100,000 debt. You paying on it for 20, 30 years, and you ain't making enough money to pay the damn student loan. It feels good to have the master. It's like paying the mortgage, and at the end of 30 years, you don't own the house.
All you got is a little certificate that said, congratulations, you completed a house. That's what we got. Now, I don't have to think about it. I think about it on an everyday basis about how much Sally Mae calls me for every day. Go ahead, Brother.
Yes. And listen, I don't want to confuse you because when I went to college and got that engineering degree, trust and believe the salary that I made as an engineer made that worthwhile. But you have to take a look at it and look at these advanced degrees. How much is it going to cost you to get this advanced degree? And then how much are you going to make? How long is it going to, the interest, all of that. You got to
return on investment. You better do a cost benefit analysis for education these days because it is a lifelong commitment. You talk about paying on something for 30 years. That's for an adult. That's a lifetime. I want to juxtapose this last piece. According to Newsweek reports, indicate that small businesses, while exactly what you're talking about, Brother Mac, small businesses were closing while large industries and corporations were thriving in the pandemic. And according to Newsweek, between February and April of 2020, the number of active business owners declined by 3.3 million. According to one study in June of 2021, there were currently 37% less small businesses in the United States than just 1 year earlier. And when you look at the opposite side of that spectrum, as much as politicians like to talk about, we're doing this for small businesses.
That's right.
And the PPP loan, I get that was there, but the proof is in the numbers.
That's right. And again, think about, when I tell you about those trillions of dollars that was being artificially injected into the community, into the economy by the Federal Reserves and the federal government, who do you think was getting that money? Now, they want to tout to you that we had these small business loans, we had these PPP loans. Well, if you go back and remember, it was very difficult for people. And look who was getting. You had Ivy League schools like Harvard that was applying for PPP loans and getting them. Harvard has an endowment that would rival some countries. You understand what I'm saying? But the people with money had their big lawyers going in, applying for the PPP loans and getting those loans. So again, this is why we have to understand why this economy was doing so good, because the United States government, in concert with the Federal Reserve, we're one of the largest banks in the world. And trust and believe they were artificially inducing this money. And when I say artificially, what I mean is because of the unusual circumstances of a pandemic, it was one or two things. You either going to sit back and let this economy collapse. And when I tell you what happened, I'm not saying that I don't agree with what the Federal Reserves did, because trust and believe, none of us lived through the Great Depression of 1929 when they had soup lines and folks had lost everything. Trust and believe, if we didn't have those economic minds doing something to keep this economy rolling, and that pandemic hit, we would have saw times that would be unimaginable. This infusion of cash that they did to keep things going, the stimulus packages, the PPP loans, these are all part of why it's kind of good to be in America, because they did these things, but there are consequences to it. And keeping those interest rates down at zero for so long is part of what allowed inflation to get out of control. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, the other consequences to it is this is my question, or at least my observation, is that while all that money, the quantitative easing dollars were flooding the economy to the point of where now the opposite side is being argued, like you said, inflation. Everyone's talking about inflation. The majority the lion's share of that money did not go to the individual worker, the essential worker, the people who for an economy that is 75% consumer driven, according to most studies, this is an overwhelmingly consumer driven economy. They sure could have put a lot of more of that money in the hands of consumers and still gotten a good result, because, as you said, when that stimulus package hit, Americans went out and spent. So wouldn't it make sense for all this money that's going around? Why aren't they writing more stimulus checks directly into the hands of people who, one, need them, who, two, could have sheltered in place if they didn't have to go out and, drive a bus or drive Uber to make a living? And three, well, we'll just start with those two. Like here's a situation. There's money, but it's not getting to the people who need it the most, not at the levels that they need it.
Yeah, let me make sure that let me try to give us all an example that we can relate to as to what you're speaking. There was go back and look at the amount of money that was given to the airline industry, right? Under these PPP loans. The airline industry had to agree that if they took these incredible bailouts, if they took this money, that they would have to guarantee the employment of all of their people for a certain period of time. The airlines took this money. And when they took this money, that's when you heard Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and others saying, the last time we had a situation like this, case in point, the subprime mortgage, when they was giving loans to anybody to buy any house you wanted to. You could be making $30,000 a year and they're giving you loans to buy a $800,000 home.
It was wild like that back then.
Okay, so when the subprime mortgage, when the house of cards fell apart, and now you heard the term too big to fail, now they decided, let's give the big corporations, let's bail them out again. And when they gave them the bailout money that was supposed to save them, what the companies did was they gave their CEOs huge bonuses. They started doing stock buyback to protect their investors. They did everything criminal, greedy, and I'm not going to call it criminal, but they did everything that would embody greed that you could do. So now when these loans came out, that's where you heard Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and others saying, don't take this money and start giving yourself big bonuses. All the executives, the CEOs, giving yourself big bonuses. Don't use the money to start buying back stock so that it makes your stock prices go up and your investors happy. Do the right thing to save your companies so that we can keep our economy going. Make sure and guarantee that these workers are still going to be employed. So there was a time frame that they had on these. And as soon as that time frame elapsed, all of the airlines started talking about layoffs and doing the likes. Did they give bonuses? Trust and believe. Go back, and here's my problem with situations like that. America wants to say it's capitalism when they make their money. The big companies say, hey, we took the risk, we made the money, we ought to enjoy the lion's share. But when their asses get in trouble, they now forget about capitalism and they want to embrace socialism. Oh, yeah. They want to enjoy the profits when they make them. But when the debt comes, they want us, society, to pay their debt. That is my problem. Right. Don't enjoy the lion's share and call it capitalism and then want to embrace for your debt, me to pay it off and then call it socialism.
It's something I heard. I used to love Randy Rhodes, radio host, and she just always say it like this. They want to capitalize the profits and socialize the losses. And I think that is probably the clearest way of understanding. Correct. Yeah, of what's happening around us. Brother Mac, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit further what's happening in the federal charges of the three other officers who were present in the killing of George Floyd. We'll be discussing that with Georgia Ford. DJ Exclusive is in the house. He's going to take us to a break. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll be joined by Queen Azor for Like It or Not. More on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show coming up right after this.
I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. See, we was cool right before it hit the fence, but it hit the fan when I got him down at the bench. But I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these cause my last name ain't Ken. Cooking on the stove, that's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she paid tuition. Better watch your soul, cause you know they trying to get it. Yeah. I learned my right from wrong on a song. I let my heart bleed on my sleeve through microphones. I'm trying to right my wrongs by writing out my wrongs. Ran through a check, cause it's hard to live off bread alone. So if you see me slipping,
good morning, everybody.
Let me know.
Y'all know who it is. You know the voice. You know the sound.
Yeah, I need my space to breathe. That's why I be going
DJ Exclusive is
I ain't trying to stay up on that wide road, cause I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no.
Welcome, y'all. Come on in, grab your coffee, your tea, whatever it is you need. Good morning, start it, y'all.
I can't let them take my soul.
Good morning, everybody.
Nah, no. They thinking I'm bluffing, but I promise I do it. That K got a drum, like murder and booming. We sending you vert, if I get my little Uzi. They thinking I'm crazy, I'm gon' see you to hate this. People I'm saying, get what I'm painting. A picture big, I call it little baby. If I'm on the board, then we playing chess. If you on my way, you gon' need to
y'all stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, mama and daddy.
My 45
KFC, what's going on, brother?
That's Dallas, Texas. My little partner called her body for a Maserati. He told him get up out the car, hit him with the shotty. That 12 gauge, gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write it, but
Wilson, first time listening to the Benjamin Dixon Show live. Hello, chat room. Good morning, Michael, and welcome.
These demons really out to get you, so you better guard your post.
Crazy, but
certain things I could probably let go, but I can't let them take my soul.
It was in shenanigans. Good morning. Shout out, brother Chuck Diesel. Good morning.
Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul.
Brother Luke Kane. Lily, good morning. Melanie Dennis, good morning. I can't let them take my soul. Alicia, good morning, Alicia. Melanie Dennis, good morning. Courtney, good morning to you.
I love the way you shake, you stir.
Luke Kane, yeah, I do. I think Luke Kane,
Push up and butter me.
Roll the Dragon, good morning. I can't stand Luke Kane. That's my dog. Brother Lateef, good morning, brother. Tyler, good morning to you. Cat Givers, good morning. Love you too. William Moore, good morning. Love you too, Alicia.
We can cook up baking syrup when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream.
Barbara Ebron, good morning. Juanita, good morning. I see your eye protection over there, girl. You better do that thing. Latino, good morning to you. Mark S, good morning. Hey, morning, man.
I'm hooked on you like phonics.
Tiger, good morning to you, brother Tiger. Hey, man, don't forget tonight. It's going down. Gonna say 9 p.m. tonight, y'all. Patron party. I said we're gonna get 2 for January. This is the second one and last one for the month. Make sure that you have your face in the place. Patreon.com/liker, not Patreon.com/the BGB show. Patreon party tonight. Colin, good morning. Mama, yes, it does sound like BTS. Nat A, me too, sister. Me too. Infinite Content, good morning. The Big Piece, good morning to you.
And that's sweet on me. We can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, baby. Pour that sweet on, baby. Shade out, just we can cook up, we can stir up when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream.
The D, good morning.
tell me lies. It won't stop me, watch me rise. No more anchors holding me down. All I need is more. One more hour, one more minute, one more chance for me to win it. Yeah, I want more. Every time I dream, I catch it. I know how to make it happen. I want more. Climbing every mountain, keep both eyes on the top. Nothing's gonna tell me to stop. Oh, push me through the fire. All I'm gonna feel is the heat.
No, it is not infinite content. This is funk aesthetics.
Crazy, tell me lies. It won't stop me, watch me rise. No more anchors holding me down. All I need is more. One more hour, one more minute, one more chance for
Brother Luke Gang, I got you.
Every time I dream, I catch it. I know how to make it happen. I want more.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the screen. My brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon, and also Dr. Paul Mack. Good morning, y'all.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody. It is Friday, January 28, 2022, the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Let me start by saying in some ways, I'm a boomer, and I lose my phone every morning right before the show time, and that's shame on me because we communicate through that. And Sister Ford notified me earlier this morning that she would not be able to make it this morning because of the trial. She has been called back into the trial, which is obviously that takes precedent over the morning show. She's going to be there, and she's going to try to set up next week to broadcast live from outside of the federal courtroom where the charges for the three other officers who were involved in the George Floyd murder, Derek Chauvin obviously having already been found guilty on the state charges, and now the federal charges, violation of civil rights, et cetera, those are going on. And that is where Georgia Ford is this morning. And so just wanted to recognize that she's not going to be with us because she's out there in the field doing the work. Good morning again to you, Dr. Mack and DJ Exclusive. Thank you so much for what you're doing. How goes the day, gentlemen? Before we jump into all these other stories and politics and news, I just wanted to check in with my brothers, James and Dr. Mack. How y'all doing this morning?
Dr. Mack on mute.
Oh man, see, I tell you, we all pushing.
I'm there now.
Semi-boomer.
Ooh, y'all acting so old this morning. What's wrong with y'all today?
James, cause we're old, man. Like I think that's the part of it.
Man, hell no, Ben. That ain't got nothing to do with it, Ben. Hey, how the hell you have your phone on your side at least at all times?
Well, you know what? I have been delivered from my phone. I honestly,
man,
I've been delivered. Listen, I've been so delivered from my phone. Everybody in my house has my password, and I just leave it around the house. Now, you know that's deliverance on any given day, no matter what I don't care what kind of good man you are. You just don't leave your phone laying around for your wife and your kids to be able to just click, click, clack. So I'm honestly delivered from social media, man. I'll go in there and work and put in the work. So that's why I don't have my phone. But I can't do that no more because we communicate too much for the show. I messed up yesterday and today, so my bad.
Yeah, because I'm like, dang, it was like, James ready? I'm like, Ben, I text you like at 5 o'clock in the morning saying I was gonna be here. What the hell?
Yeah. And Dr. Mack, I'm just now seeing your text too. So my bad. That's on me. I'll take it.
But no, other than that, I'm good though, man. I'm good. I was just tired as crap yesterday. I woke up, I chose violets, and I went back to sleep so I could choose peace instead.
I mean, you could have come up with something better. He could say, well, no, actually, that's good enough, man. Listen, self-care around here, brother. I would say you could have came up with something better, but like, I don't know, man, something like a freight train hit my.
Okay, wait. I got it. Okay, again. All right, here we go. Man, my left kidney ruptured, so I just had to stay out yesterday and just try to nurture it back to health. I think I'm good now. I think I'm about at 100%. They took it out yesterday, and I think I'm good.
Dr. Mack, how are you this fine morning? How are you, sir? Brother Mack, hey, y'all know we don't care about nothing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't care how my day is. when the DJ comes in, he gonna tell some joke. He gonna say something that just sends me off the track. I'm trying to come in. I want to be professional and shit and sound. And the DJ just
that's exactly why.
Thank you,
because listen,
man, I love you. I love you for that, bro. Thank you so
man,
much.
I love you too, brother, man. It's funny. I was getting ready this morning. I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, I gotta make sure I have my dad joke on deck because to hear Dr. Matt laugh like you've been laughing this week has been making my week. Y'all don't understand that.
I love it when a plan comes together. But truthfully,
you made a statement, man. In the being caught in the storm of all that is just the difficulties and challenges of life, man. DJ, when you come on, you just allow me to just go into a free world and just enjoy the beauty of it. And when you drop the lines or you bring your humor, even when I watch you as you saying good morning, and I really paid attention to that a while back, but you're right. The fact that DJ, you have a style and a love and a way that is just authentically beautiful and funny as hell, and I just love you for it, man. So thank you so much.
Listen,
anytime, brother, man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. No,
y'all can't sit around here and get sentimental around a guy like me. I know, like I'm kind of psychotic with sentiment because honestly, damn it, James and the patrons held the ship together while I was adrift. Let's just say that. And so we're going to have another patron party tonight. I know we had one last week, but as a way of thanking the patrons and you, DJ Exclusive, we're going to have another patron party tonight. What say ye?
Hey, I'm with that. Yes, indeed.
Send me the link, and I want to be sure. I haven't come to a patrons party yet. I need to do that.
Let's make it happen.
Come on, Dr.
Let's
Matt.
make it happen.
Mama Gwen gonna be there.
Oh God.
You know I'm all up in now.
Wait a minute. Wait. Is there any way possible? I'm throwing an audible, but James, I've been wanting to get Mama Gwen on the show just cause she's just everybody's mama, everybody's black mama. She not happen to be watching right now with her phone, and we can link her in, or is she like a
I know she's watching.
Things? She's watching.
It would be like
I feel my baby watching. I feel you, Mama Gwen.
Y'all about to have Papa Gwen shoot up the whole place. Can we hold down?
Oh, Dr. Mac, I've meant to tell you last time. Dr. Mac said, my daddy said he not worried. He said, but the Uzi don't miss. I said, Dad, it don't matter. They're going to bounce off of him. Hey, you can't see Dr. Matt. Never mind. You blind, man. Never mind.
Lord.
I love you, Papa. I'm sorry, Daddy.
James, how are you going to be ableist against your own daddy?
That's my dog. That's my dog. He going to stop helping me now.
Hey, look, I don't want to say that I'm that kind of guy. I don't want to say that I'm that kind of guy. But Mama Gwen's hot, Daddy, and if you don't want to look at her like that, I'm just saying, Bubba. We could be brothers, and I could be stepdad. I mean, what? Where does it go, Mama Gwen?
I don't know what to do with this because those are fighting words going across this air.
Oh my God! Oh, and Mama said that she's laying in the bed. She ain't gonna put her good hair on, Ben.
James, somewhere mid request, I started to think like my black mama who's going to say, you are not going to put me on the air and I ain't got a chance to get my hair done, nails done. It was a bad ask. But let's set it up for next week. We want to get Mama
next
Gwen.
week. She going to be ready to go. And then she'll have a little computer and everything where she'll set up and she'll be good to go.
That's what's
and she over here dropping heart emojis in the damn chat. Talking about Dr. Matt and 3 hearts. Go to hell, Gwen. I'm going to tell Daddy on you. You see I be flipping the script?
I can't. I have a feeling if you're watching via Twitch, there are about 100,000 washboard Mac emojis going up against the screen right now. I'm not even there, but you know how they have the emote. I said emoji. It's the emotes on Twitch. They have the Dr. Carl Mack emoji essentially with the washboard. with his little, his 9-pack showing on the other side, hanging out.
Hey, look, Ben,
I know that's going up. That's up on Twitch right now. I'm sure of it already.
I want the new graphic art to be, you can leave that like that, but then I need you to bring in the regalness of Mama Gwen right next to him. And
something like
they will.
Right next to me.
Queen Gwen and her her first adjutant. I pulled out the churchiest term I've ever heard in my life, which is adjutant, Karl Marx. So you do.
Oh my God!
The emoji does look like you're a servant, and so you have to properly serve. I don't see you serving anybody else but somebody of the regalness and the caliber of Mama Gwen.
Oh no!
In a red dress.
Don't get it twisted. When you say you don't see me serving nobody else, I can understand your vision. But player, you better put in that vision, Mama Gwen, and the script changes. I'm on my knees for Mama Gwen. Mama walk, Mama yes.
All right, that's enough. All right.
I guess I need to call my brothers and sisters and tell them he might have a new dad. And
James, that joke works on multiple levels for you, bro. We gonna joke about we gonna joke. Listen. We joke about everything. We joke about anything, and we have to. Now let's see what kind of range we got here. Let's see what kind of range we really have, because in all honesty and all fairness, we are in the time period that otherwise would be on the clock with Georgia Fort. But as we said, right. Georgia Fort is literally in the courtroom right now in the federal charges against the officers, the 3 other officers who were present as Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd, and that is Officer Thao, Lane, and Kung. I'm not sure. Somebody can give me the pronunciation of that last name. She's in the courtroom right now. Bearing witness is a phrase that I borrowed from our friend Cliff Albright at Black Voters Matters. She's bearing witness to the levers of justice. Dr. Mack, in the last segment, you said something that hit me. You said, you better know what's going on in Wall Street, because Wall Street is the financial center of the entire planet. Similarly, you better understand the levers of justice from every aspect, from the time a police officer pulls you over to the time we get justice, all in between. We need to not only understand it, but we need to be there present, understanding and bearing witness, rather, to what's going on. So salute to Sister Georgia Fort as she does exactly that in that federal case against those officers.
Ben, and I could not agree more. First and foremost, I just want to thank Sister Fort for her body of work and covering these types of cases. But just like now, if you're looking at the screen and you see this artist representation of the judge, I can tell you, man, I forever have wondered, why is it that certain cases they allowed the cameras in and certain cases they would not?
That's right.
And because of a sister like Georgia to be able to bring her expertise and perspective to us and explain to us the way that these proceedings are, what takes place in these proceedings, I think we're all so very, very grateful. And I tell you, upon her return, anybody that wants to have a firsthand account of the witness that by which she was a part of, to bring us insight from our perspective, not from anybody else's. I so look forward to her returning. And I can tell you, I just want to sit quiet, but I imagine I'm going to have like 1,000 questions I want to ask her.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward.
And some of those questions you already posed, explaining, she was able to go into great detail why we were able to watch the court case for Derek Chauvin, the state level case, and the difference being that on the federal level, it is a standard practice to not allow cameras in the courtroom, which is exactly why we are able to see the artist rendition, but no actual footage. So that makes Georgia actually being there even more important. She's also gathering notes. And I know that might sound innocuous, but in our industry, in our world, like the people who are there, the journalists who are on the scene, they provide notes, and that is disseminated to other outlets. And that becomes what's the word in research? An original source. It becomes an original source.
And being the other thing that we have to keep in mind, I found it absolutely fascinating when Georgia shared with us that George Floyd's girlfriend, having been allowed a position in the courtroom to be there through the entirety of the trial, now leaves out of the courtroom, has a press conference, And now the defense attorney now asked the judge to not allow her to be a part of the court proceedings anymore because she went out and participated in a press conference. Now, under normal circumstances, I would think, okay, well, the judge probably gave instructions that no cameras are allowed, no interviews are allowed, on and on and on. But then when Georgia tells us that as a court reporter, she can set up right outside the court and hold interviews with people as they're leaving out, I'm now trying to understand. So what if she had stopped George Floyd's girlfriend and interviewed her? What is the difference in what she is going to say there and what she says at a press conference? Is probably very much the same. So why, and you add into it First Amendment rights, why is it that a judge on such a high profile case as this one, why would he make a move to say to this woman, you are no longer a part of these proceedings?
That's right.
You know, so you know, is there the element of race in making that? Because clearly, to reach as though she somehow revealed what was supposed to be like a grand jury. Grand juries are for the most part a very, very private situation.
Right.
So it's not like this is a grand jury, like everything was so secretive and nobody could talk about anything. So for the judge to act in that manner, was his actions based on race? Because clearly it don't seem to be based on common sense. You mean to tell me if I call a press conference and say something, I'm in trouble. But if I stop and a reporter wants to do an interview with me, I'm allowed to do that. Where's the common sense in that?
It neutralizes her power. It neutralizes George, and we're speaking again of George Floyd's girlfriend, who was, as reported to us by Georgia Fort, is not allowed, in fact, banned from having her own press conferences right there in front of the courthouse. But she is not banned from speaking to the press. I could tell you that the distinct difference in the two is who holds the power. When she has the press conference, she holds the power. When she's talking to journalists, the narrative of that outfit, that media outlet holds the power. But jokes on them because, well, anyway, I don't want to say that part. Go ahead, Brother Mac. I think that's the difference.
No, so again, to your point, this is the beauty of, of us having, I don't want to call it a beauty, man. This is what's so special about us having our very own Georgia Fort to be a part of such a high profile case as this one, to be able to bring us that level of insight. And again, I can't wait upon her return to hear the developments of that, because being, quiet as it's kept, I'm trying to understand. And we have compared this case with George Floyd to that of Ahmaud Arbery, right?
Yeah.
Now, in the case of Brian, and Brian is the man who is in the car who's videotaping, right? In his case, the judge gave him a life sentence with the possibility of parole, right? Now, think about those three officers who have a sworn duty. They swore an oath to serve and protect. And they clearly stood there, and in some cases participated in the murder of George Floyd by one of their own, and they did nothing. So, as an officer of the law, if you see another officer break the law, are you not bound to protect?
That's the question. That's right.
Are you not bound to protect? And so, in this case, just try to. I don't care what technicality they try to come up with. In the end, it is that simple. When you swear oath to protect, does that mean I don't have to protect you if it is one of my brethren who is killing you?
That's right.
That's what this is all going to come down to.
Brother Mac, there's a question that I've been dealing with and grappling with as recent as this morning. What do you do when your side is the bad side? How do you respond to when what is happening in front of you is evidence that you're on the wrong side of something. Well, these three officers looked at Derek Chauvin crush the life out of George Floyd. Y'all want to know why we laugh so much? Because, well, we had to see that video, right? I avoided that video as long as I could. But when you see, can you imagine the difference between how you felt watching the video safely from the distance of social media versus being three human beings, officers, sitting there watching the life of George Floyd sucked out of him and do nothing? Your side was the bad side. What do you do when you're the bad guy?
And Ben, let's go to this. There's not one of us as viewers who have been in a gathering amongst either family or friends and some shit pops off. And when it pops off, do we sit back and allow it to escalate, or do we intervene and try to separate? We intervene and try and separate. In this case, George Floyd is laying on this concrete. Chauvin's knee is on his neck, restricting, I cannot breathe. And these three individuals. So I want you to imagine that if you are at a family gathering and two of the aunts decide to go at it, two of the uncles, let me say two of the aunts. Because if it's two uncles. Because
it's the uncles, you got a problem.
I might have to sit back and let them go at it.
Yeah, not well. And see, this is why we hold our tongue a lot. I just want to say for the record, I'm following you word for word, Brother Mac. This is a reason as Black men, we do hold our tongues a whole lot, because once we say the truth, there's a collision in doing.
Right. And I'd be damned with that. I ain't holding that's the beauty about being an old Black man who is retired. You ain't got to worry about shit.
You can say whatever the hell you want.
I don't give a damn. Ain't shit you can do to me.
Well, I still have to check in with a couple people. Like, she out there. I got to check in with, you know.
I would tell you this. My
mama still got a little pull in my life. I got to check in with her.
But I would tell you this. There are people who knew me when I was a younger man in that world, and they would have told you then, shit, he didn't care then either, right?
You know, ain't trying to fight. Ain't trying to pull up. But listen, if two uncles about to fight, I need one of them. I need. The only way that's going to de-escalate is one of them shut up and walk away. Because that's why I want you to use the two aunties. Because maybe there's some sensibility between the two aunties. But I digress.
So clearly, if you're sitting at that family situation, you know that there is going to be an intervention. And so now you got to imagine that, here you watching, these three officers are watching this thug with his knee on Floyd's neck.
My guy.
And they just stand there and do nothing. Anything that speaks of justice, to say that they walk on any type of technicality would be, see, Ben, I don't want to.
And this is why I'm glad George is not here. Brother Mac, I want to say this, and then I want to. You got your device there, because I like to check in every morning.
Right there waiting.
I know. Okay, I just put big back. This is why I'm glad George Report's not here, because these are the opinions of the people who are on the show right now. What you're seeing, nothing that we do here can be attributed to Georgia Ford, because she is a journalist. When she comes to our show, when she comes to the morning show, she's coming and giving us the news, and she lets you know when she's about to give you her opinion. I say that because Fox News doesn't tell you that. Fox News makes you think it's all one and the same. They like to make you think it's journalism when it's commentary. What me, Brother Mac, and DJ Exclusive are doing, we're giving commentary. When Georgia Ford comes, she's coming in as a journalist. And so, Brother Mac, we say what we want to say. And we need Georgia to keep doing what she does with the level of integrity she does it, which is why I'm not a journalist anymore. I've hung up my even claim to journalism, because I need to roast some of these people. We need to, there's another edge that I need to bring. But I am so grateful that we have somebody like Georgia Ford, who has the integrity enough to be trusted enough to be our witness inside of the halls of justice of this empire. Boy, I be saying a whole lot. Let me shut up and say less. Hey, Google, what happened today in Black history? Oh, she didn't hear me. Let me turn my volume.
All right, let me help her out.
Yeah, you do
Google,
it for me.
What happened on this day in Black history? I don't know, Ben. She might be, she might be.
Are the servers, YouTube? Can y'all, somebody check in on the servers?
Was the most published Black woman writer of her time. In 1926, along with Langston Hughes and Wallace Thurman, she served on the editorial board of the magazine, Fire. Some of Hurston's publications include Mules and Men in 1935, Tell My Horse in 1938, and Dust Tracks on the Road, her autobiography, in 1942. Zora Neale Hurston passed away on January 28, 1960. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
Wow.
Google had an attitude problem.
Yeah.
Google
she was in her feelings a little bit. She was in her feelings a little bit, DJ. I'm going to tell you why I think she was. I'm going to tell you exactly why I think Google didn't respond. You know, you hear that woman's voice, and it's a white woman's voice. She was all in her feelings because I'm into my feelings with Mama Gwen. She was in it.
Wait a minute.
That's what that was about.
DJ, play some soft music for me, DJ.
If you want to know why the Google Assistant didn't respond properly, because it was sitting here listening to this outpouring of love that I got for you, Mama Gwen, and this helped me. And I'm gonna tell you, ask me a question. I ain't got shit to say to you.
Brother Mac, my mama is watching the show, man. That's $100 fine every time. Come on, man.
Oh, my bad. Just tell me.
Take us to break.
I can't stand you.
So don't despair. She's got what you want. She's got what
All right, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up next in the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. But it's funny because that is the same exact thing I was thinking. Google, man. Google got an attitude.
just come to mama.
Shout out MXB. This song has been on my mind for the longest. And don't forget, tonight it's going down. Tonight it's going down. Patreon party tonight. Patron party tonight. 9 p.m. Make sure that y'all have y'all face in the place. Happy Friday, everybody.
And if you wanna be a knight, you better prove your loyalty. You better listen to me. She's got what you want. She's got what you need. You know she's got everything. So boy, don't you cry. Leave all your worries behind. Just come to mama. Come on. Just come to mama.
Hey, stand in this chat room. Laura Estrada, good morning to you. Chat room is going crazy over this song. Dr. Mac, I guess it's a song for you. They talking about come to mama. They is going crazy in the chat room right now.
She's waves her hips and I'm on fire. Yeah, every angle. I
Just come to mama.
Now, hey, I got you that because you know I'll log off that meeting and just leave and cancel everything.
Your drama, baby boy. Just come to mama. Come to your mama. Just come to mama.
They talking about this song is for you, Dr. Mac. Come to Mama Gwen.
Baby boy. Just come to mama.
Okay, it is. Real quick, y'all. Real quick, before we move on, get our new Twitch subscribers read off really fast. We'll have our new Patreon update on Tuesday when we come back. So our new Twitch subscribers, we have Chicken Fried Dragon who gifted a 6-month subscription. If we don't do something for Chicken Fried Dragon soon, man, I love me some Chicken Fried Dragon. Chicken Fried Dragon gifted a 6-month subscription to fellow content creator Rayvana. Chicken Fried Dragon also gifted a 1-month subscription to Daniel the Fragile. Daniel, don't be so fragile. And Dr. B Win rated our channel with a party of 8. Shout out Dr. B Win. And Justin Sane 80 resubscribed, and they've been subscribed for over a year. Shout out Justin Sane. Appreciate you. Deep Man subscribed with Prime, and they've been subscribed for 3 months now. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/the BPD show. Make sure y'all join Patreon party tonight. All that good stuff. A pun walks into a room and kills 10 people. Pun in 10 dead. Pun intended.
I miss that sexy smile, looking for you. I hope I will lose control.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Rebecca Azor will be joining us momentarily for Like It or Not here on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Good morning, y'all.
Can let you go, baby. It's the right thing already.
Y'all know I ain't got no sense.
And we feel it. I really do. I said the truth. We can't go anymore. Need you now. I'm your queen and you the king right now. It's a kingdom. Let's play it how you like. Doesn't make you
Hey, Dwayne. Hey, good morning, Miss Sophia. Hey, Dwayne. I'm developing a new fragrance for introverts. That's right. I'm developing a new fragrance, men's cologne. It's called Leave Me the Fuck Cologne.
You, I hope I won't lose control. Love you every night, but checking the time. Just us loving you all night long. I can let you go, baby. It's the right me already know.
Ever, good morning to you. B, good morning, B. You just missed your song. Apparently, it's a bop, B. It is.
Let's check the clothes and have a time. You know how you make me feel alive. Come close to
I
me.
ain't got no sense. My mama want me to tell her joke, because you know what I'm going to tell you. Here we go. Hold on.
I wanna hug you
Dr. Mac, this joke's for you. My mama said I had a girlfriend once. She was cross-eyed. We couldn't see eye to eye. Plus, she was seeing someone on the side.
I miss that sexy smile. You, I hope I will lose control. Love you every night, checking the time. Just I'm loving you all night long.
I can't breathe.
I miss that sexy smile. Looking forward to see you.
Okay.
I hope I will lose control.
Okay, perfect. Dr. Mac, hell no. Y'all welcome back to the screen, Benjamin Dixon and Dr. Mac.
James, listen, man. Listen. I'm offended by that last joke, man, because if I look, it takes a... Why do y'all think I look away from the camera so much? If I look too hard, my eyes get a little bit out of control, bro. So it was funny, but I'm offended there, Doc. That kind of... I feel attacked.
Where your glasses at, Ben?
I don't even know. They kind of got lost in the move. I got to get me a whole new pair of frames. Now I can't even. Now I'm self-conscious. Can't even look at the camera.
Man, we can never tell. Now everybody gonna be looking at it because I ain't never seen you look cross-eyed. Because when you say it now, I'm gonna be looking at you.
Now I can't look at the camera. Anyway, Dr. Mac. Everybody in the chat room was going out. Everybody in the chat room was losing their absolute mind over that first song that DJ Exclusive played, Come to Mama. I didn't even put it together, but the audience always does. Come to Mama Gwen. Listen, this is a G-rated show. Like this, well, I guess it's not G-rated. Let me stop lying. PG-13. So listen, let's keep it PG-13.
Look, I get it. But look, let's just follow the dominoes, right? We start the show off, as we always do. We love Mama Gwen, so we talk about it. Now, look, I'm not going to be in denial about there's a viral love affair between Mama Gwen and I. We got some. I ain't never laid eyes on her, but we into each other like that. Now, we expressed that, and the whole time we were talking about it, we all know that Siri, Alexa, and the Google Assistant, we know that they all listening. So
they are all listening. That's a fact.
It's the voice of a white woman. She was listening to this black love affair between Mama Gwen and I. Now, any other time that we want to ask her a question, she's quick to answer. Okay, Carl, I'm about to answer you.
Right?
You want to know what happened in Black History? I'm here, Carl.
Let me tell you, Carl.
But this morning, when she hears what's going on between Mama Gwen, she was like,
"Oh man,
look, Dr. Mac, right?
Wait a minute.
She had a whole ass attitude.
She was
There's some patriarchal misogyny going on in here too. My God,
the assistant was all in her feelings. And I had to recognize. So at the break, I had to unplug her for a minute. She told me, Carl, you're pulling my cord. I said, you damn right I'm pulling your cord. You can't be in public like that and be acting like that because there's that black love. You know your place in this relationship. I had to get it right. I unplugged her, Ben. I unplugged her. She right now. Mama, let there be no doubt about where your place is in this relationship, okay?
And key point that you all may have missed. Brother Max said he ain't even ever met Mama Gwen. So
no.
these internet relationships be getting serious.
Man, they happen so quick. This the new black people meet.
Oh man, bro! I said this is like, just call us How Stella Got Her Groove Back with drmac.com. That's the name of the show.
No. I'm the supporting cast.
My bad.
It's how Mama Gwen got her groove back.
I don't know how I missed that one. I don't know how I missed that. I missed that alley-oop. You can't alley-oop yourself. I think that's the thing. New rule.
Oh man!
Damn, Brother Mac. I don't even know. This is not even like it or not, because Queen Azor is not here. We bring her in properly. She'll be here when she gets here. It's kind of the deal, I guess.
Okay, look, Ben. Let me ask DJ. DJ, the story that I just laid out. Did it or did it not happen just like that?
Yeah.
This is exactly
Wait, let's see if she acting better. Let's see, Dwayne, let's see if Google, or I almost said Siri, you cannot call in virtual assistant outside of her name.
Right.
Hey Google, what happened today in Black history? How you gonna act?
Zora Neale Hurston was the most published black woman at the time. In 1926, along with Langston Hughes and Wallace Thurman, she served on the editorial board of the magazine, Fire. Some of Hurston's publications include Mules and Men in 1935, Tell My Horse in 1938, and Dust Tracks on the Road,
the Queen is on
her autobiography in 1942. Zora Neale Hurston passed away on January 28, 1960. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
Now, Ben.
So, yes, sir.
I just told you what happened at the break. I told you I had to get her right.
You unplugged her.
She, and look what happened. I plugged her back in after that little session between her and I. She now understands that Mama Gwen reigns supreme. She ain't tripping no more, Ben. She got right. See how she got right? What I do?
My man said, "That's what I do."
Okay.
One of the smoothest things this man ever said. Listen, man, one of the smoothest things this man ever said to me. I don't think I've said it on the show. I got to get it on the servers. The servers got to hear this one. This man said to me, Brother Ben, when I think about my Rolodex, it could get really interesting if I put my mind to it. I said, that's got to be the coolest way in the world to say, I know some people that you might want to know, Brother Dixon. And I said, it doesn't matter, business or pleasure. I'm going to say less. Brother Mac, close us out of this segment.
Look, man, I'm just saying, look, it ain't like I want to put it all out there. But I want to be clear. I want to be clear. Mama Gwen, this virtual love affair that we got
my hands.
She ain't going to come in. This little assistant thing, she ain't going to come in the middle of that, Mama Gwen. I'm going to put it out there on Front Street.
The thing is, we got to talk to that assistant. We don't have to talk with me. We could obviously.
No, trust and believe, man. Trust and believe.
We do need that assistant to be, ready every day. We appreciate
Ben. See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man.
Ben, that's what I'm saying. What's between me and that assistant is zebra. It's black and white. Mama Gwen and I, that's that black pearl love. We ain't got to be begging the zebra for nothing. When I need her to get right, she either gets right or I unplug her and replace her.
My hands
I told her
to thee.
Right,
Help
or
us,
I
Jesus.
replace you at a drop of a hat. It don't matter. 1 assistant, 2 assistants, 3 assistants.
3 assistants, 4.
You don't get right, we run you up out of this mug. That's what we do.
I have nowhere to go.
Mama Gwen.
After this, I think maybe this next story is
come on, B, bring us a story.
I'm professional, Brother Mac, but you outdid me this time. Dwayne,
He's trying to find a juxtaposition. He failed.
I got nothing. Dwayne, do you have something? I'm calling for help here, David. But we got
everybody quiet.
You got Kanye West. I could jump all the way to Kanye West. He's revealing his release date. I'm not a fan.
But Ben, let me say this, Ben. Let me say this to you and to our listeners. I want to say this. So yesterday, it dawned on me that for one of the few times that we do the Black History message, that we really ever told you all how to get the calendar. And so being yesterday.
Oh, wow. You're right, Dr. Mac.
When you said, hey, Doc, tell us how anybody who wants the calendar can get the calendar. So when we did that yesterday, I mean, as soon as the show ended, our viewers started ordering the calendar. And I knew that they had to be coming from our show because any other time, it just doesn't happen like that. I really want to say to those of you out there who have ordered the calendars, I got them out. They're en route to you right now. I want to thank you so much for your support. But more importantly, I want to thank you for taking the time to want to learn something beautiful about who we are as a people. So again, for those who are interested in the calendar, go to www.blackheritagedays.com. The price of the calendar, $19.99, free shipping. But so Ben, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank all of our viewers for the orders. And I hope you enjoy the calendar. And if anybody has a problem with the calendar of any sort, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I promise you I will make it right. Yes. That's just what we do.
We fulfill our orders and provide excellent customer support.
True that.
With integrity. I will say less before my attorneys start calling me. I do want to ask you, Brother Mac, because I looked at history today. Zora Neale Hurston. I first learned about her at Bethune-Cookman, by the way. I didn't get the education of Zora Neale Hurston in my high school. I probably could have. I was a bad student. But by the time I got to Bethune-Cookman, they set us down and taught us about her legacy and her work. I thought it was kind of serendipitous for it to fall on the very moment we were talking about Georgia Fort. Now, she would hate that we're drawing even a comparison, but I dare to draw a comparison with people in history, with people who are doing real stuff today. Like I do see Sister Fort out there as a pioneer, cutting directly through the system, right? Cutting directly through the justice system. So I thought it was kind of apropos that on today, your calendar, and I'm be honest with you, Dr. Mac, I'm able to teach my kids using, homeschool, using the calendar as our starting point, because it's like every single day it is relevant to what's going on around us.
And it's right there, but Ben, so let me say this. The comparison with Georgia Fort to an icon in history, for me, it wouldn't be Zora.
That's right.
It would truly be Ida B. Wells, because what you have to imagine is that what Ida B. Wells was so famed for was the fact that she was bringing insight to another atrocity that was happening to Black men, and that is lynchings, right?
That's right.
And so
that's perfect. That's exactly one-to-one almost. My God.
That was what was prominent there. And if anybody could speak on lynching, it was Ida B. Wells. Today, if there's anybody that can speak on the issue of police brutality and has covered it, it is our very own Georgia Fort. So that's the reason why I draw a very strong comparison between Georgia Fort and Ida B. Wells, and rightfully so.
What date could we find Ida B. Wells on Google Assistant, since she's acting right for you now? I'd love to, if she's acting, because You know, you gotta maintain the relationship.
Okay, here we go. Oh, she's gonna get right. She's gonna be right.
Jesus Christ, this is such a misogynistic show now. Oh my God, what happened? Just all of a sudden, like the patriarchy just came in like the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. What the hell? Go for it, brother man.
Hey Google, what happened on July 16th in Black history?
Ida Bell Wells was born July 16, 1864 in Mississippi. Despite losing her parents at a young age and having to raise her younger siblings, she successfully graduated college and began teaching. During this time, she became very outspoken about the injustices towards Black people, and eventually went on to become part owner and editor of the Memphis newspaper, Free Speech, which she used to shed light on inequality. Wells was also a founding member of the NAACP, and on February 1, 1990, the U.S. Postal Service paid tribute to her by commissioning a stamp in her honor. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
I can't stress enough how powerful that tool has been really in my family. Brother Mac.
Right.
Now, you know, and I also want to remind people that what you hear on the assistant is just a snippet versus what's in the calendar.
Right.
That's right. And so
yes.
Part of some of my challenges as we were developing this is that the people who were now going inside my calendar and creating the snippets are folks that didn't look like us, didn't understand our culture. So some of the stuff they were picking out, I found, quite frankly, sometimes I found it offensive. And so I had to stop them in their tracks and say, look, we can cancel this contract before I let you put some of this nonsense out here. So we're going to have to stop. And so I literally went back and rewrote almost 6 or 7, 8 months worth of the snippets. And it's a sizable contract that I entered into with Google, right? And had they been disrespectful to our history in that manner, trust and believe, they could have kept their money. You know, I don't believe in being a Judas amongst our people. You can take your 30 dirty pieces of silver and roll them. I don't need it like that. You know, there is a price on integrity, especially when it comes to our history. And either you are going to treat it with the dignity and respect that it is due, or you go find some other coon that you want to place in the Kunta Hotel because I ain't got no taps on my shoes. That ain't what I do.
Hey, somebody needs to make. I need a singer to do the Kunta Hotel in the tune of "In the Heat of the Night." And we're going. Some people got to be inducted into that hotel throughout this upcoming season. My God, I was there. I Brother Mac, I've seen and I've heard you've handled things like. There's something about being a free Black person that really is refreshing. I'm going to say less because I know we got Queen Azor coming in a minute. Why don't we introduce her properly? James, do you have that trigger ready? Can you drop her song, her opening song, in our intro? She's looking at me like Benjamin Dixon. She's looking at you. If you could see her cutting her eye at me. When we come back, more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show, but more importantly, Queen Azor is here for Like It or Not.
Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, your tea.
Y'all hear the song.
It's time.
Go ahead and grab the baby oil.
9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like It or Not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change skin like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news we
It happens every time. Every time I'm off the day before and I come back the next day, I'm a damn mess. I'm just goofy and I blame y'all. I blame Dr. Mac today. It's Dr. Mac's fault today. It's Dr. Mac today.
Y'all stick around.
I blame my mom's fault too.
It's coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, this
Strip the dragon, hell no. Good morning, Strip.
that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics pro.
I swear I'm gonna write another song soon. I promise I am. I'll switch this one up, but do something.
Y'all know who I am.
Right. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Stay dropping them jams. Like it or not. It's going down, like it or not. Y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not. It's starting now, like it or not. Wait a minute. Not yet. My wife asked me, is it just me or is the cat getting fat? Apparently, no, it's you. Wasn't the right answer. It's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Oh my God.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning. Let me try to fix
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
Oh, and not care who doesn't like it. I need to see if I was on mute first. I just needed to see. And I just feel like my camera's kind of close.
Yeah, I had to back up a little bit. I had to lean back a little.
I feel like
they were getting all the
Ben, don't lean too hard, Ben. Don't lean too hard. You're gonna lean back and break something.
What other place can you go?
I love you, brother.
And tell your boss you got a big head, and then get a raise. I mean,
wait a minute, where that's at?
In a couple months. See me by about, see me about the end of February. But
honey.
But it's coming. It's coming because y'all doing great work. Y'all doing great work.
Nobody asked, but I mean,
no, I'm just saying. I just think it is so. I'm not. It's the Braves. I'm not worried about y'all doing great work. In fact, Patreon.com/Like It or Not. Y'all go become patrons so that we can continue to reward them even more. The raise part's not I love to take care of the team. It's the fact that, damn, James, can you not go a week? Can James not go a week without roasting me? That's the question. But that's what
that's too.
That's what we've been doing that forever. It's not gonna work. Rebecca Azor, it's your moment though. I'm going to yield the microphone on the floor because this ain't my show.
I wish I had a device that I used to back in the day where I used to say, hey, Google, I wonder, I know that you, Dr. Mac, are partnered with Google. And I don't want to call out the other device's name, but I did it off air. And I was like, she knows nothing.
Oh, my God.
That help was stupid.
The juxtaposition. Brother Mac, did you see what just happened? My God. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to say less. Yeah. What's the name of your device, Rebecca?
Do you want me to say it?
I do.
Because I always
Alexa, play Thought Stuff by Megan Thee Stallion.
No, not that.
She doesn't.
Hey, Alexa, what happened today in Black history?
Oh, my God, y'all.
What happened?
1 second, my Alexa playing.
So
a lot of people got Alexas.
Did you hear it? Listen. Alexa, what happened today in Black history?
Here's something I found on the web.
She gonna tell you about Shirley Chisholm.
Paradox of Liberty opens today at the Black History.
Dr. Mac.
Oh.
She doesn't know anything, though.
What did she say? I mean, we could barely hear her. I hope the audience was listening very closely. What did she say?
So she was telling me about something that's happening at watch. Alexa,
oh, she gave you a current event.
What
something
happened today in Black history?
Here's something I found on the web.
Put it close to the microphone.
Museum.com. Paradox of Liberty opens today at the Black History Museum and Cultural Center.
That's not history. That's present. I mean, that's cool to know what's happening today. Rebecca, maybe now I understand what's going on. Turn your microphone up a little bit on your side, if you don't mind, for me, sis. But Dr. Mack, it doesn't seem like
it's all the way up. It's that my
Black
Alexa
history.
device is down.
What's that? You mentioned something, bro, Matt. What were you saying?
Oh man, I'm just telling you. So normally when I ask Alexa what happened in Black history, she tells me every day for like a year and a half. Today we celebrate the achievements of Shirley Chisholm. That's all she knows, right? So it's about content. But I mean, Queen. You know how I respect the Queen, but I gotta tell you, this little child over here, she knows some stuff about Black history. I mean, you give me any kind of day. Queen, you want to know what happened on my birthday? Listen to her. Hey, Google, what happened on April 28th in Black history?
On April 28, 1971, Samuel L. Gravely became the first black admiral in United States military history. Gravely was born on June 4, 1922, in Richmond, Virginia. He was the first black officer to command a United States Navy ship and the first to achieve the rank of captain. The following year, he became the first black to command a combat ship, the USS Falgout. During the Vietnam War, he was assigned commander of the USS Tausig, thus becoming the first black man to command a U.S. Navy ship in combat. Adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
I'm just saying, Queen.
So ask the same date. Ask Alexa the same date, y'all. Somebody asked me.
I'm about to say we were gonna try. We were gonna try a different one.
Okay, what you got?
Hey Siri, what happened today in Black History?
No.
1 sec. Okay, I found this on the web for what happened today in Black History. Check it out.
And then the heifer ain't gonna even read it to me.
These are more
call the machine a heifer.
But it's important to have these things. I think what these what this shows all in all is that, you know, we have these spaces that lack black knowledge, black acknowledgement, and then they're telling us, you know, Dr. Mack, he's a historian, a real historian, because people be out here not really doing their work. But, you know, he's somebody who actually knows and has done the work to see what's happened daily. Now, that's a lot of work. Now, mind you, there is so much that happened in history. But it's
how long did it take you? Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rebecca. But when you get a chance, Brother Mack, I need to know how long that took.
You got to stop cutting me off this morning.
Yeah, sis, go ahead. I apologize. It's a bad habit. You sound like my wife. I'm going to be quiet now. Go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The acknowledgement, though. You said spaces without black knowledge and acknowledgement.
I was just going to tie it to, you know, it's important that we did that, because a lot of these spaces that are huge and have room to grow and talk about Black history and you know, acknowledge Blackness, they don't. So I'm glad that Google partnered with and saw that opportunity and partnered with Dr. Mack to put that information out there. But it just goes to show in what's happening now. People are in uprising about, you know, Supreme Court seating, and that to me is, they're like, oh well, you know, why does it have to be a Black woman, or why does it have to be a Black person, or why does it have to be all of this? It's important because these spaces always lack black images, Black people, Black influences, Black acknowledgement. It's just not there. It's not there. So, you know, I'm glad that on this show that we can even talk about that and point that out, because a lot of these devices could definitely use some Dr. Mack acknowledgement. So.
Amen to that.
People could use some Dr. Mack acknowledgement.
Or and some Dr. Mack knowledge. So because I didn't know a lot of these things. I got the calendar sitting next to my bed. So I go through it and I'm like, dang, this is something that really happened today. I would have never known. Dang, this is something that really happened today. I would have never known.
Queen, the other thing I want you to say is, the next time somebody says, why does it have to be a Black woman? I want you to stare them right in the eyes, and I want you to get, you know, bring in your Haitian auntie kind of persona. And I want you to give them the words of Brother Malcolm X when he said this. Brother Malcolm said the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. So, mofo, that's why it's gotta be a Black woman.
This man can go from Frederick Douglass to Bernie Mac in 2.5 in less than 0.5 seconds. My God!
But I do say this in all seriousness. You know, not only the calendar that you're looking at now, but I literally, for the reasons that Brother Malcolm just stated, I did a Black History calendar. 366 days is all Black women, and I did it for that very reason, because as Brother Malcolm said, the most unprotected, disrespected person in America has been the Black woman. And now the president makes on his campaign trail a commitment that he would fill a vacancy on the U.S. Supreme Court with a Black woman. And for anybody to ask the question, well, why does it have to be a Black woman? The only reason you ask that question, fool, is because you don't know the plight of black women in this country. You have no idea. And if I want to sit you down and learn and you refuse to learn it, then I have to slap them with one of these. I put it right upside their face.
Was it the 2x4?
2x5, 4.
Yeah, 2x5. All of the 2x5. But literally, I will tell you, the only reason people will ask a question like that is because they truly have no idea. And if you want to understand, and I'll tell you, there's a book by Paula Geddes called When and Where I Entered. It is a history of American black women. I would dare say to anybody who wants to get some semblance of an understanding of what sisters in this country have gone through, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I'm with it. And I like your fervor when you talk to people when you're doing business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't try to do business and use my likeliness and my voice and have it wrong and have me attached to things that I am not proud of, have me attached to things that are not true. Some people will just take the buck. Some people will just do that and, say, this is the black voice for Google. Meanwhile, it's a misrepresentation of black history. And that's something that you were not going to go, you weren't going to do. And I appreciate that. And like, that makes me, when people be calling me to pull up, I need to make sure that I know that if I'm going to represent blackness or I'm going to represent Haitians or I'm going to represent anything, I have to do it correctly. And I'm not going to do it, if I'm not comfortable. I wouldn't, and I won't. It just won't. Now, money is a good thing, but it'll come to you, especially if you're pure-hearted and you know and you're fighting for that. And if that person or that company or whatever is trying to use your likeliness, your voice, your image, and not hear you out and not go with the proper way of doing it, then if you can leave that money on the table.
And Queen, I would tell you this: it's one thing for me to tell you that, but you and I were in close conversations all the time as these negotiations were taking place. And I'll put this out there. I will tell you all exactly. It's a 3-year contract that was close to $500,000. And I said to Ben right then and there, either they going to get right or they can take their contract and shove it right up their ass. You will not disrespect our history. And Ben, I know that you and I were in close conversations, so I'm giving you free license to say, am I embellishing it, or was that the way it was going down?
Let's just say my negotiating skills have come to the Mac level because I witnessed it in real time. That's all I'll say about that. Because, freedom requires financial freedom as well. Liberation requires financial liberation as well, because so long as you have to look at white folks and say, go along with their rules. And I want to say it very clearly. White folks love y'all, mean it. But we've been through this too many times. When you're not in a financial position to speak your truth. Yeah, Brother Mac, like that's how they control so many people. And then I sat back and watched Brother Mac handle Google. I was like, well, damn. I appreciate the lesson. I have my notepad out.
But I'm saying this to you all as well. That level of integrity doesn't come because I was in a financial position to do it. When I didn't have no money, integrity was always at play. It was at play with my people. It's at play with my history. It's at play with decisions that we have to make. I just want to say that. So it wasn't about that. But clearly at the forefront of it. Yeah, but at the forefront of it all, to now say that you want to take my history and you want to tell it the way you want to tell it. Like somehow when they did the George Floyd page, they wanted to allude to me saying, now we cool in the gang with police because of what has happened. I was like, have y'all lost y'all damn mind? Ain't nobody here cool with the police because of what happened with George Floyd. And now
that day in particular, that one blew me, Brother Mac.
They wanted to talk like these protest marches have all of a sudden brought us into the Enlightenment. I was like, y'all have lost y'all damn mind amongst other things.
Yeah.
So, we had to get right on a lot of
that particular one. That one is the one that really struck a nerve, where the language, it's the very subtle. Rebecca, you said it. You said the knowledge, but then the acknowledgement. It's like they want the knowledge, but then they also cut off the acknowledgement and the context And then if you let them, they'll finesse those words enough to make it seem like we I don't remember the exact language, but I remember that exact argument, Brother Mac, about how the phraseology over George Floyd was really sickening in context. But that was the example that I respected the most. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's enough said to it. And so as we prepare to enter into Black History Month, and I do want to say to the three of you, how much I appreciate you all embracing this aspect of my contribution to our gathering from a historical perspective. I truly, truly appreciate it. I've never been a part of anything as public that was so socially conscious. And when I tell you how much of a difference it means to me for the three of you to embrace that, because most people, they want to say they're about our history, but you all, anytime I bring that historical perspective, you all certainly allow that. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. And there are folks who contact me all the time. I was up at West Point at an event, and a sister was like, I just love how you all vibe on the Ben Dixon Show. I had a sister out and hit me on Instagram who lives out in California. I'm thinking I knew her from someplace. She was like, I've been hearing you on the Ben Dixon Show. I love the historical perspective, proud of you guys. So everywhere I go, there are folks telling me about what they're witnessing on this particular show and us talking about history. And so
that's
I just want to say to the three of you.
See, Brother Mac, you got to tell the whole story. You can't come in here.
Seriousness. Thank you so much for that opportunity.
Brother Mac, that's exactly why Hey Google was acting up this morning. Anyway, Rebecca.
You are so welcome, Dr. Mac. And I will say,
welcome, Dr. Mac. Right.
Yeah, because you are a light to the show. I love how it's always raw moments on the show. I think you add that to this show. You never know what you're gonna get, honey.
Oh, no.
But I love that about it. Now, and it's funny because I was talking to Ben the other day, and now I've been doing this for some 5-6 years, not as a journalist. I've been a journalist. I know I look young, but I've been a journalist over 12 years now. But I've been me going into politics and then meeting Ben, and then just being in the Ben Dixon sphere. It's funny because if you've been on the show, if anybody who's been on the show or has been on his podcast or anything like that, they've gone on to have, I call it the Ben Dixon effect. They'll come on the show, they'll go to other spaces, but they just absolutely love the show. And people will say, I've seen you on the Ben Dixon show. Carl Hart, who was on the show, right, was on the Breakfast Club. I always say this is a funny story. Carl Hart, who was the Dr. Carl Hart, which I used to call Dr. Mac, Dr. Carl Hart. But he was on the show. And he was going viral because he's a professor who talks about the responsible usage of drugs, some major drugs,
major.
So he was on the show talking about it, but he was on the Breakfast Club, and on the Breakfast Club they kind of laughed at him. That was everywhere. But it was the effect that we had on him on the show. Yes, we were concerned. Yes, we had questions, but we allowed him to educate us. We allowed him to tell his truth. And, he was okay with, our concerns and our questions, and we just had a good time. And when he first started really, part of the Black elite. And then, after that, it was kind of he was just this is what it is. I got kids too, you know what I'm saying? We're oh, okay.
He got real. Yeah. He got real fast. He got real quick.
You're educated.
He started dropping What is it about the doctors with Carls in their name dropping the MFers so quick on the morning show?
So quick.
He went from Harvard. What was his university?
Columbia, I believe it was.
Columbia to Hood real quick. Shout out to Dr. Carl Hart.
It wasn't Hood,
Columbia to Columbus.
It was a part of his blackness. It was just
It was love. It was love.
Yeah, I need you to understand. Man. The MF word is like a verbal orgasm.
Oh, I knew you were going somewhere, but I didn't see you going there.
Never mind.
My God. Rebecca, one thing I could use some help with. you guys you all have to understand that I do come from like the cutthroatiest world of politics, and I dot every I ever. I need you to balance out some of the testosterone on this show, Rebecca.
I be trying. It's just you guys not swing it over here. I just want to talk about something else.
I love it. Because this is what we really are. But do y'all notice every time Rebecca or Georgia is away, we lose our damn mind?
No, I watch and I'm like,
we do.
Jesus, Lord, they are out of control. They are out of control.
Rebecca,
okay?
Oh, man.
It was Dr. Mac today, Rebecca. It was Dr. Mac today.
I'm pretty sure.
Dwayne, right. You heard that too, Dwayne.
I didn't hear him. What'd you say, Dwayne?
I said Rebecca be watching instead of being where she's supposed to be at 9 o'clock.
You know what?
And then she come on the show
watching the damn show.
I feel like sometimes Dwayne be waiting, and that's why Dwayne had me outside for like 45 minutes, and I wasn't even mad about it.
You know what?
Dwayne, I got you.
I've just adjusted to your schedule. Your show don't start till 9:15 no more. I've just adjusted. You know.
What time that message came in slightly, Dwayne?
Hang on. I got it right here. I got my phone now. I went and got my phone. Rebecca, 24 minutes ago. It is 9:46. So Rebecca was ready.
No. I actually logged in at 9:20. It's more of a 9:20 because I was giving you guys time to get ready. And then as I sat there, I was like, okay, are they not gonna let me in? And sometimes I'll get up, like, so on my my kitchen counter chair, sometimes the little thingy comes off at the bottom. So I'll go and just start screwing those things back in, and then I'll go get me something to drink. I'll reclip in my wig, adjust it a little bit. Dwayne sees all this, and he's still like, and then I'll come back and sit down and wait, and it's just I'm still not inside. So.
I can't with y'all. I swear I can't.
Are we talking about news? Are we talking about? No, I'm joking. Oh.
Look, get this out the way. What they seeing on camera? Let me throw that on the side.
Hey, we show.
So you know how I go when you got something in the angle of the camera. You go like, oh, gotta get that out of the way.
I think we could do a show just with Dwayne and the Queen and their antics of starting the show. Just
okay.
Dwayne, you and the Queen, a reality show.
You know who they remind me of. Now,
Dwayne
Rebecca,
has a problem with me, and it's been.
I ain't got no problem with you.
He said in 2022 he is not going to deal with me, and I
ain't got no problem with you. I got a younger sister, and she catch all of this same smoke too. It's just that's all it is.
Oh man! Wow.
I'm older than you, Dwayne.
Stop it.
Oh yeah, Rebecca, what?
I am. Are we? Dwayne is like what, 30? 31?
No.
Okay. All right.
33. I got you for a couple years. Yeah.
Boy, I'm gonna be 32 in May. There's not a couple of years.
That means I was out here in these streets while you was still not even a little twinkle in your daddy's eye.
You were in diapers.
I was still in the streets. I was in the streets in my diapers.
You're like 1 year and a half older than me. What are you talking about? Anywho.
It's Friday, January 28th, 2022. Oh, God. Thank you so much for joining us like it or not.
But,
you know what I absolutely love, though? I absolutely love we start the morning with so much seriousness. If y'all catch us at 8 o'clock, me and Brother Mag be like, yes, and then other news, and then this situation in Russia, and this, and then Brother, and by the time we get to like it or not, well, I ain't got to describe it.
Ben, we go from talking about Russia invading Ukraine and NATO, the Federal Reserve.
That's right. Quantitative easing.
Next thing you know, we easing into the viral love affair between me and Mama Gwen. And by the time we get to like it or not, we got the words MF causing verbal orgasms.
So, see, look at y'all. That's why we can't take y'all anywhere. Let me tell you something.
I got a reputation to uphold. I was like, I was one of the guys.
It's too late for that, Ben. This shit going out the window.
I stand against it firmly.
I wanted to discuss talking about I wanted your opinion on something, and that's because You guys are all men. And I wanted your opinion on something. It was actually a viral, and this is a viral. Can I send it to you, Dwayne? Okay. So there's this viral conversation that's happening on, and it's Friday, so stay tuned. There's this viral. It's not crazy or anything, but it's a viral conversation. I was wondering why everybody was up, and that's what the Twitter called it. A tizzy was up in a tizzy over a woman. A young woman was talking about, because we were talking about how we date now, you know what I'm saying? You meet somebody and you finally physically meet them after being on one of them dating apps. But they were up in a tizzy over the fact of what her first impression was, or what she wanted to make as a first impression when she met him. So she is the giving person, I guess. So she ended up, and I just sent you the video. Hopefully you can grab it so I don't have to run my mouth about it.
What type of giving girl?
Is this the girl with the cigar?
Yes, it's the woman who decided to go on a date after meeting the guy. She was talking to the guy for about 2 days. And listen, in these days, you talk to a guy 2 days on the phone because they ain't doing that. Now we're forced to really kind of do that. So 2 days, they were talking, and you might be talking from morning to night. It wouldn't let you download my link?
No, that was mine.
From morning to night, you can be talking to somebody all day, and you develop to me, communication is where you're building. Communication is where you're building that relationship. I could fall in love after 24 hours. I'm like, God, who is this man? He's so good to me. 24 hours. But she said after 48 hours, she decided to go meet up with him, and she wanted to make a good first impression, right? That means, they made a good first impression through communication. So she was like, she heard him. Listen to this. She heard him speak about cigars and how he loves cigars, right? Knowing that her father is an avid cigar smoker, she stopped by her parents' house, grabbed the cigar from her father. Her father was like, oh, you can't just give him a cigar just like that, baby. You gotta, I'm going to throw in a cigar cutter so you can give that to him. Mama said, but you can't bring the gifts like that, baby. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and tie it with some twine and make it presentable when you bring it to him. Then she ended up bringing it to him. No, before she told us that she brought it to him, she was saying, this is what I want to do because I know this is what he said he liked, and I hope he really loves it. That's how she ended the video. Oh, baby. The kids on Twitter, they were creating a conversation that was unacceptable for me. The fact that, first of all, it's her business. It's her business. Yeah, she shared it with the world, but it's her business. Drink your water and mind yours. Because at the end of the day, if a woman being a giver to a person, naturally, it doesn't matter if it's just somebody that it could have been a friend, a family member. You can tell that she's just a giver. People were like, why would she do that, girl? You just met that man. You shouldn't be all of that. You shouldn't be spending. They assumed that she was spending money. It was all free. It was all free, first of all. And they were just saying that one woman did a whole she dissected the video and said, this man is seeming like a narcissist. First of all, how did you get that from this woman's video? That the man's
right. I did see that. I saw that. Yeah.
You shouldn't give yourself to men like this. Women, you should be better than that. Men should be only buying you things. Men should be, and it's like, no, because I'm a giver. I was talking to this guy for maybe like a week. I went down home to Palm Beach, got 2 shot glasses, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring it home for him. But he was a cool guy, and I know that he collected shot glasses. And I ain't never see him again after that because I wasn't interested no more. But you think that's just, I thought it was a good gesture, not because I wanted to marry him. I wanted for him to see me as a wife. I wanted to, get him in my bed. It was nothing like that. It was just because I know that we had a conversation and he liked shot glasses. The last guy that I dated, I would go home and I would always come back with a card from where I came from, and wherever I was going, and then just write a nice letter in the card and just bring it to him with a small gift from where I came from. It's not a big deal, guys. If you're a giver, you're just a giver. And that's why she's still talking to that man now.
No, that's good. And honestly, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Maybe I still would have been dating females if somebody would have did that.
I didn't see that, Kevin.
Shit, somebody get me a cigar.
I'm trying to share a link
Sometimes
here.
you talk, but sometimes it's, and to me, what I heard was, she's a listener. She's a listener. She's somebody who, is just a giver. Somebody who just wanted to show, just the first impression, not just pull up on this date. She wanted to actually have a lasting impression on the person that she's coming to meet. Not because it's her doing too much. That's just how she dates. And if you just date pulling up with your wig, nothing to offer, that's on you. That's okay too. That's okay. That's your business.
Right.
My God, today. We got the video.
That's me. I'm a giver. I might give you something if enjoying the conversation and everything is going great and like it's our first time meeting. I might bring you something. It just depends on how what the vibe is. Mm-hmm. I'm like, everybody needs. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
So Queen, I'm gonna say this as the elder statesman, and I'll be 60 in April, right?
Come on, elder statesman.
First of all, I need you to understand. I asked my ex-wife, who is a FAMU rattler, chemical engineer. I asked her to marry me 2 hours after I met her.
Wow.
2 hours.
No, that's something.
I said,
2
let's
hours.
get married. And now people start this, wow, how did you do it for 2 hours? My marriage lasted 16 and a half years, right? So my marriage lasted far longer. It was evident as what it was. But I would tell you this. I've certainly had my share with sisters, women. There is a differentiator between a woman and the art of a woman. I would say to you that if I had expressed an interest in shot glasses and you brought me a shot glass, trust and believe you have differentiated yourself in a manner that damn near every time I touch that shot glass or look at a shot glass, I'm going to think about you. If I were a cigar smoker and this sister wrapped a cigar in a cigar cutter and brought that to me, as simple as a gift as it is, she has differentiated herself in a manner that I shall always think about her. And when I think about you, there is an adjective that goes with you. And the adjective ain't ratchet, it's classy. From the elder statesman.
Classic, man.
My viewpoint.
This light-skinned man on fire today, goddamn.
Light-skinned and turning 60. Well, but
60 well.
And I agree with you. For me, and it I feel like anything that has been given to me by anyone, gifted by any man or whatever, I'll remember that. And I know right now, and he's probably watching, but right now there's a guy that I would, I would sit with. Now I gifted him, a lot, but that's because I wanted to, not because I wanted him to give me anything back or whatever. But there was one thing that I would do, like when it's 11:11. I would be like, hey, just make a wish or a positive prayer right now. Like, just in this moment right now, just do that. And I know a lot of girls, you got to run from them girls. They'd be like, what's your sign? Oh, it looks like, it's Mercury retrograde at this. No, that's not me. But I did, every 11:11, I'll be like, hey, it's 11:11, whatever. And he used to be like, man, stop doing that. Stop doing that. We stopped talking. And then he would, now all of a sudden, he'd be like, I see 11:11 all the time. I'm like, and so what? You gonna remember 11:11, and you gonna remember to be positive in that moment. And who taught you to be positive at 11:11?
Come on, black woman.
In that moment, I know it was.
You better say that.
Come on.
It was.
That's what I'm
He say,
I
did that. Never forget.
He remembers that all the time.
But you know what, Queen? The other thing that I need in this example that I need for brothers and sisters to both understand, the gift that was made, the gift that you gave to him, was because you noticed that's where his interest was. The gift that the sister was saying she wanted to give was because she knew and heard him say that was his interest. I love playing golf. So trust and believe, if a sister brought me something golf related, I'm thinking to myself, I'm liking that the fact that the sister is in tune to the conversations of things I like. So the same thing with us as brothers. It's one thing to get you a gift, but it's quite another when we get you a gift into something that you are clearly interested in. So from that perspective, it's not just about being a giver. It's about paying attention to those little nuances that give insight into what it is that your significant other or this person you may be interested in, what their interest is.
Yes. And it's beautiful because, and she said, I don't smoke cigars. That's what she said. Right. She's not a cigar smoker. She always coughs when she smokes cigars. But she's like, they pulled up to the park. It was too cold for them to go outside. And he was teaching her how to smoke the cigar correctly. And she was like, that was just a moment that they shared with each other, even though that wasn't even her interest, but she knew that was his. Right. And it works out that way. You're totally right. But I feel like what he saw was somebody who's listening, somebody who was, intentional about trying to get to know what he liked.
There you go. Right.
And, and even though that wasn't something of hers, she was willing to just join in and try. For me, I'm like, there's so many different things that my ex would do that I didn't understand, I didn't know, but I would like add in or do. He used to create, like he has buildings, right, that he would do Airbnbs out of. And I used to just be like, Airbnb this, Airbnb that, Airbnb this, Airbnb that. And then next thing you know, now I'm building beds with him. I'm waking up, we building beds together. I'm saying, what do you need me to do? What do you need mama to do? You need me to come help? Because we doing this together. Did you go look at some more properties?
Come to mama.
What we doing today? Like, now I know about what he's doing, how he's doing it. And then my friends would be like, girl, now you just all up in it. I'm like, yeah, girl, he just looked at a new property. He trying to do it over here, whatever. Now I was interested. Before I was just like, girl, I don't know. But then I'm like, you know what? Let me get to, I was interested because I wanted to be around him too. So I'm like, what does he like? So I bought him some pictures to put up in some of the spots that he had. I gave him a mirror to put in, and he's like, he'll send me pictures. Hey, look at this. This looks great in this particular place. This goes with this particular place. Things like that. I now started becoming one of them people. And I liked it though. I liked it, but I knew that was his interest and I knew that's what he liked. And he put a lot of time into it and I started to just be a part of that in that moment. And that was because he's going to always remember that. Now, when he looks up at the wall in some of the places, Rebecca.
That's right. And that's the point. And that's the point that we're making is you can either be another person or you could be a differentiator. Somebody that when that moment comes again, Ben, we sitting there thinking, damn, I'm thinking about old girl. DJ, we thinking about old girl or old boy. Rebecca, we thinking about old boy. Because that person was a differentiator in what they did in our lives. And trust and believe, that's some beautiful shit.
Brother Mac being inclusive.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
It's little.
Mac, I told you Brother Mac was fine.
Hey, DJ, I heard you say at one time you would have stayed with the sisters if they'd have done right, but they didn't.
Hey, they saw the hell didn't. Get the hell out.
Go ahead, Queen.
It's little things too. Like I was going through my phone the other day, and I was just telling my best friend this morning when I was supposed to be on the show. But I was going through my phone the other day, and
stand you, Rebecca.
and I have a video of simple things like my ex-partner cooking in the kitchen, and I'm like, look at that. I don't really be in the kitchen like that, but him cooking in the kitchen, simple things like knowing that I was home at work all day and he would come and bring me food that he's cooked. Like, here, I know you're hungry. Did you eat today? And I bought a TV. I was just going to put the TV up just like that. That boy came and did 6 jobs and put my TV up. So now every time I do see the TV, I'm like, look at him. He worked 6 jobs. He done put that TV
You know what else
right.
happens? You know what else happens?
He done did that. It's little things that you remember. Little things that you remember, and it's vice versa in the relationship with whomever you're dating. But
that's right.
Just be intentional. You knew that TV was on the ground. I wasn't gonna put it nowhere. He came back with all the tools, and he did 6 jobs to put that TV up. Okay, he did that.
And I'll tell you this: and Ben, you spoke to Erin. So Erin is like a daughter to me, right? And so Erin works at YouTube. She's killing the game. And she graduated from Harvard Business School. And when I tell you, she is truly like a daughter. So one of the things that Erin gave me was a Harvard golf divot. And so as a golfer, you're always using a golf divot. I always played with this golf divot and golf marker. And whenever I pull that divot out, I see Harvard. I mean, so literally through the entire round, I'm thinking about my baby girl. Right, as a daughter. But trust and believe, if a woman had gifted me something unique, simple, but it fell in line with my interests, a certain Black history book that was unique and rare because she knew I was there in golf, and these things, again, that's what makes it a differentiator. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be something incredibly expensive, because trust and believe, every time I play golf, my baby girl is right there with me thinking about it. So
that's love.
No, it is.
But you said now I haven't seen the video, out of everything that you said like, and you know, Twitter is my home. That's where I made my whole career. You said Twitter had a problem with this.
Yeah.
The kids on Twitter, and I'll say this, because there is a space of people who just want to find something wrong with everything. And I know that's a space where we all put our opinions in place and things like that. You know, because people, I got to be careful with that, because people get real sensitive. You know what I'm saying? But there is, like, you know, the younger crew, they don't, you know, it's like all about, do he got money? Trust me, I like a man with money too, sis. But do you have money? What do you have money? Are you like, what does it look like for? Because I know that, you know, the girls, I like me a good, like, I like to be classy. I do like my classy music. I do. And then I like my little ratchet songs, but some of these songs are telling the girls, listen, all you need to do is, you know, he just need to have money, and all you need to do is, you know, just look pretty. Just twerk something, throw something, and don't worry, because I like to do that. When I go out, I'm twerking something, I'm throwing it in the circle. It's all in my classes. I'm doing it all. I like to dance and stuff. But ladies, it's okay for women to be givers too. I know that, and I think that's what my problem. My problem is, like, it just came off as, oh, she's doing too much. She's being like, she needs to let the man do for her. She needs to, and I'm like, it doesn't always have to be that way. And it could be that way for you if that's how you want to date. But there is nothing wrong with somebody naturally, and you can tell, just naturally being a giver. Ben, like, we worked together, and it would be like little stuff. For your birthday, I think I had got you, and you never came and got it. I knew you needed a calendar, so I got you a calendar for your birthday with something. I know we were all stressed, and there was something on there that said like something positive. I don't remember what it said. It was so long ago, but I was like, he needed something. This is when we worked in the office. He needed something. It started. The snowstorm came. We ain't go back to work for a minute till February, but I was like, he needed something in that particular moment to just kind of build up your, because you were just having a tough time. And you're like, oh, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do this. I said, let me just get him a calendar and this positive little thing and just give that to him. And just because you work with me, I see you every day. You're a friend. Like, it's nothing wrong with that. My daddy, you know, he sent me out to go get something, and I ended up attaching like a record, because I bought him a record player. I ended up attaching a record of, I think it was the OJs on there, because he likes old school music.
Oh, yeah.
And I just had it in the back of it, and he's like, why you got me this? I was like, because I know you love the OJs. Now, every time he walking around, and he'll be playing the OJs in the background to my mama, he'll be yelling, my baby girl got me this. You hear the music?
That's it.
My girl, my baby girl, stuff like that. You just naturally are a giver, and you want to make impressions on people because you listen to what they said they needed. You heard what they said they needed. You seen what they needed. Sometimes it's just a phone call. Sometimes it's just whatever. It's not doing too much. And it doesn't matter if you met that person for 2 minutes. The impression that they made on you was enough for you to want to make an impression on them.
I done listened to a couple of gifts you've given, and I like it.
Right, Dr. Mag. I'm like, damn, Rebecca. See?
I like.
Yeah, would have been on something.
I like to give gifts. I like to give gifts. I got Bubba on Saturday. I told him I've been holding out, but I'm taking him to brunch on Saturday.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Do we have the video? Because I want to see the sister who's got
She's a beautiful young
Twitter
lady.
in a tizzy. Let's take a look at this sister.
Hey you guys, so I wanted to give you guys a quick little tip on how to make a first impression last. Okay, so I've been talking to someone for literally like 2 days now, and we decided to have our first meetup, link, date, whatever you want to call it. And just through our conversation, I know for a fact he is an avid cigar smoker. He enjoys a good cigar over a glass of brandy or whiskey. I can't remember which one. I think it was whiskey. But I picked up on that little mental note. And I remembered that my dad is an avid cigar smoker, and he has a really nice collection. So before getting on the road for our date today, I decided to stop by my parents' house and actually pick up a cigar. And my dad actually threw in a cigar cutter. And my mom, being the mom that she is, was like, oh my God, Samara, you can't take it just like that and hand a cigar in a cutter, wrap it. And I'm like, well, what do I have to wrap it with? Her crafty self had some twine in a paper bag. So I wrapped the cigar in literally a paper bag. I folded up and some twine, and I really hope this is a good first impression.
That is what.
Beautiful too. That girl's beautiful. She said they're going on a second date.
It was the glasses for me. The glasses were fire.
It's the hair, the glasses, the dress, the nails.
Brother Mac, we know you like every aspect of it. God. The tip of the head, the TJs.
I'm looking at everything. I'm gonna tell you something right now.
The nails.
That sister that rolled up on me looking like that first. Oh, I'd have lost my damn mind.
Okay, and the first impression too. Like, damn.
Right.
And you Mama and Daddy were down with it.
Yeah.
Mama and Daddy were down with it. So, hey.
Listen.
See, look, that's dead ass how my parents are. My parents are the same way. They'll be like, oh, but look, don't do that. Do this instead. Okay, I got you. They get on board. I love it.
So, but why you only did Mama Gwen voice?
Yeah, but daddy gonna be real loud and talking like this in the microphone. That's why I never asked my daddy to talk on the get on the phone.
On the show. Hey, bro. Hey, he came on the show one time. I remember that time.
Oh, he did.
Shout out to Papa Gwen. Shout out to Papa Gwen. We love you, man.
But no, y'all
gonna have Papa Gwen come up here with them things.
Her update is that she's going on a second date with him, and she's excited about it. But she has tweeted a few things. She hasn't posted him up yet because this is her time to shine. Okay, yeah, but right. She actually was saying how he's just been really. She's like, God, is this what you've been preparing me for? Because I went down her page, and so it's funny because she's keeping this moment to her, like she's keeping him to her, but she's been like just posting little things like, it's been good. While you guys are all worried about it, it's been good. We're going on a second date. He's still been communicating. He knows how to communicate. That's one of the things I like about him. And he's been consistent in that. And that's just, listen, that's the thing about it. I think when you just are a good person, whoever you meet, Jesus, it's me again. But whoever you meet, it's just good.
I'm a little concerned, Rebecca. I'm a little worried.
It's gonna be good for you.
I'm a little worried because she hasn't revealed his identity. My advice to the sister would be to never, ever, on any circumstances.
She's actually a celebrity right now, though. She has to.
But no, his identity. Please don't keep. Ride this. This is about you, honey. This is about you, sister. It ain't about him. Shine in this moment because you only known him for like 4 days now, and Twitter investigators are the most efficient and most effective investigators on the planet.
They'll mess it up.
Do not reveal his identity.
Do not reveal his identity
because he was in my DMs yesterday.
Right.
I know him. He was coming. I know, and it'd be like, girl, nobody.
Hey, he the one that got arrested in Alabama like 5 years ago for shooting somebody in the foot. Like, what? Where did that come from?
He was dating that one girl. He was talking to my friend.
Lil Ray his baby anyway from Janiqua down the street.
Mm-hmm. He only
and everything. And
that car ain't really
ain't none of it.
That car ain't really his.
It don't have to be necessarily wrong. Like maybe he did holler at somebody the same day that because sometimes some things overlap. You never know. But don't reveal his identity, sis. This is about you, not him.
Yeah, it's about you. Keep it about you, and continue to date in that space, and just be happy in your moment. Everybody gonna talk, but I love how you choose to still walk. I love that. Do your thing and be who you are. I don't know why being positive sometimes people want to make being positive. Make it being negative. They want to find something to just be like, because in the Twitter space, we all have opinions, right? We all do things different. We all, whatever. If it's not that certain person's way, the fact that an older woman who was dressed like she was in the 1920s, not in a good way, not in a cute way, she was just giving me Harlem Renaissance with no style, because they were stylish over there in that time. She wasn't giving it to me. A black woman. She looks older. Eyebrows were painted on. It was a fool. But she made a TikTok video saying, he's giving narcissist. This is why you should not. She was giving me Kevin Samuels, but in the woman version. It wasn't good.
Rebecca, you talking about the person who responded to her?
Yes, in a full video.
That's the video I want to see.
I don't know where I had to run from it. I had to go away. But she literally was saying stuff like she's a high value woman. She was like, no, as women, we need to, and you should not. What? And let me tell you why he is a narcissist. Well, ma'am, where did you get that from? All she was saying was what she's doing for him.
Not the figment of her imagination, apparently.
Like, I'm just like, damn, you already know him or something? Like, you spend telling me what I should be doing.
Black woman.
Exactly. There was something that I read the other day, and I loved it. It said something along the lines of, black woman, black man. We've been arguing too damn much. See, we don't need to be doing that no more. Let's start over. Let's try again. And let's just continue more black love. There is these groups of people online that are devoted to dividing black love, and whatever it may be in. It may be hetero, or it may be in the LGBTQIA community. But they're so divisive in when it comes to black love. If we want to promote more black love, we shouldn't be the ones at the top of everything saying, just like a black man to do, or
right,
just like a black woman, just like a black woman to do. She can't never do right. That's why I date white women.
Queen, I'll say this. I'll say this. It's evidence when one listens to you on the gifts that you gave to the men that you dated, or even what you gave, what you had for being. And when you hear the story, it was because you were listening intently and you heard some things. And so again, if somebody looked at that video and listened intently to it, and then she shows the gift, you could see all the little things, even how she picked up on it. She says it was something small that he said. And I'm saying that level of listening, your game in that, not game, but your recognition in that area for what you have gifted men in your life, be it Ben or men you have dated, that is the difference in what makes a man remember. But I will also say this, and brothers, I think we can all agree to this. There's another side to the listening. And believe me, since I've been divorced, I have spent time on the phone listening to sisters. And many of the sisters that have called me and I've had conversations with, all you hear is negativity. I can't fucking wait to get off the phone knowing we done. I can't go on no date. I can't go see you because you complaining about everything. Your ex, your children, your family members, what's going on in the world. God damn, woman, leave me. I want to smoke my Black and Mild and you take care of my brother. I don't need all the rest of that.
That's some hood shit right now.
He said Black and Mild.
Wait a minute.
I smoke Black and Miles.
Wait a minute. Both of y'all smoke Black and Miles. That's a little.
Dr. Mac.
I told you.
Dr. Mac.
Dr. Mac. It's just black. It doesn't matter. You will always be
Rebecca
black.
Ben. Now I gotta definitely ask a question, Dr. Mac. Are you my daddy? What the hell?
DJ.
But that's the women. That's the women that you be.
DJ, allow me to answer in this way. Papa was a rolling stone.
Wait a minute. On Fridays, you guys are just out of control.
I got nothing.
Oh,
Rebecca.
he left.
Oh my God. No, you know what oh my God. I don't have nothing. I don't even have nothing to say except for we're not even in the after party yet. Patreon.com.
Yeah, Ben, we got 10 minutes left.
Like it or not. If you enjoy this, the after party said, my God, I got nothing, Rebecca. What else you were saying?
I got nothing.
But I love the way you say your daddy listened to the OJs.
Yeah, my daddy is a Haitian man from Haiti, but he came here when he was 17. Born in 1959.
Wow.
Yeah, he was 17, and he put me onto old school.
He was here during the good years.
Yeah, he put me onto old school music, and that's why I love old school music, and like soul music, R&B music, and he loves like the Wailers, Bob Marley and the Wailers and stuff like that. So my dad, and he plays the guitar too, and he knows how to sing. So that's my daddy. That's my. I love.
How did he say what? I hate putting the spot. I just loved how you said that about Rebecca and the.
He calls me baby girl. He calls me baby girl. Becky, your baby girl. So he's just like, my baby girl bought me that. Yeah. When I bought him one of these devices when they first came out, because my daddy, I made sure he stay up on game. I bought him one of these devices. He has the Google one too. So I'll tell him to utilize that one from now on. But I did buy him this device. I don't want to say her name. But
it's fine.
He literally used it he walked around the house and he would be like, Alexa, such and such and such and such. Alexa, stop. But he would do all he would do all of that stuff, and he'd be like, my baby girl bought me that. My baby girl bought me that. And then I bought him the iPhone watch or whatever, and he walks around like, I'm calling my baby girl on the watch right now. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? My baby girl bought me this watch. The other day he was saying, I'm wearing these work boots and they really, really hurt my feet. Can you, like, he knows he can go to the store. He wears Reebok C clubs, or the Club C's. That's what he wears. And I got a pair right here.
No, the brand and all.
But that's his favorite since we were younger. But he was wearing these work boots.
That's the art of a woman right there. That's the art. We watching and listening to the art of a woman.
And he called me. He's like, baby girl, my feet, they hurt. I'm working in these boots, and I'm looking at all these people. I'm working during COVID, and my feet are hurting. They are hurting. I'm like, all right, Dad. He's extra like me. So I'm like, okay, Dad. But he keeps saying it, and I'm like, Daddy, I'll just go ahead and send you over he's like, you know what size I wear, you know what color I need. He didn't tell me the size, he didn't tell me the color. I just went in there, clicked on the size, clicked on the color, and he's like, baby girl, I got my shoes. Mom was like, girl, he walking around the house talking about something. Look what my girl got me. Look what my girl got me. And then when he's at work, he's telling everybody, my baby girl bought me these shoes. She bought me 2. She bought me these work shoes, and my feet feeling good. My feet feeling good. I'm like, he's so extra. But it's stuff like that, because you know what they like. And sometimes it's all a person wants is just that. Like, literally, he can go get it himself. But the fact that it's like, my baby girl did that for me, because she can. My baby girl knows me. So I know if I tell her I need something, she knows exactly what to get because she listens. She knows. So, yeah.
It's that acknowledgement part.
I'll tell you this. I still can remember that there's only one woman who has ever paid for a meal for me. And she did it one time. So that part of me, that chivalry part of me, I don't know anything about going on a date and we going Dutch. I don't understand the concept. I find it insane.
Right.
But anyway,
a lot of women. Do you have sisters just shouted across the internet?
The only time a woman ever paid for a meal for me was both my sons, Jonathan and Joshua. We all went out to San Francisco, to the Bay Area, to hang out with baby girl and see her at YouTube. And so we went to dinner that night. And so while we were sitting there having dinner, she goes, Daddy Mac, excuse me, I'm going to go to the ladies' room. She goes to the ladies, or at least I'm thinking she's going to the ladies' room. Instead, she went to the cashier and paid the bill, so that when the bill came, when the waitress came, I go, ma'am, can I get the bill? She goes, oh, no problem. It's already been paid for. And I looked at baby girl like, what do you mean it's paid for? And she starts laughing, saying, Daddy Mac, I knew you wouldn't let me pay for it. Now, keep in mind, my baby girl she's deep. She's deep in the 7 figures.
Deep pockets.
Her ability to pay for it, which I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if she made that kind of money or not. It was just she knew that that's the way I roll. But now, as long ago as that happened, I will always remember that, because that differentiates her. And as I said, Rebecca, I'm sorry, Queen. The way that if a person listens to you, they would understand that it is just the subtleness of conversations that would key you into what you think could be something that could be very memorable to us as men. And you're one of the few sisters that I've listened to who consistently seems to get it right. And all I can say, thus you are the queen.
Like it or not.
Like it or not. Thank you so much.
And Rebecca, the other ones that if they just don't stick around, they F boys, so it's okay, girl.
This is true.
Thank you. Thank you for that too. God, it's me again. No, but I believe in, and we'll end on this. The other day I went out and I was like, don't even worry about it. I'll pay for it. It's cool. Like, I got it. Because that is, I like to be the one, when the lady comes and I'm just pulling out my little, because it got money on it. I like to pull out my little card out of my little bag. And then I'm like, I'm here. And he's always like, hey, no, I got it. No. I'm going to take care of it, babe. I'm good. And then they be looking at me like, all right. And it's crazy because I've been out with someone who has said, well, I was like, well, I could have paid for it just to see. Well, why didn't you pay for it?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. He said what?
Ben.
No,
You know that.
He actually
you know
that came
that
out his
man
mouth.
too. You know that man. Yeah. He's like, why didn't you pay for it? And that's when I knew right there. Huh. It was like maybe he didn't have it, but then it was multiple times. Like you stay trying to ask a dude out, you know what I'm saying? And then you know what dude ain't got no money right now, you know what I'm saying? And you stay trying to tell me why you don't take me out. No, it's not that. I didn't know that we could do free stuff. I like to walk in the park. I like to go hiking. I like to do all these things. But you're worried about me. I don't care for all of that. But there are guys who will make you feel like that's all you're trying to put. But I do. I'm an old school woman in this way. Yes, I will. I like to pay for my man's meals too. I like to do that. That's just it. But I like to know that I'm covered. When I go out and he pays the bill, he don't even like stare at it for 15 hours. You knew you was going on a date with me. What did you say, Rebecca? The check come. They like, you knew you was going. You should have had money. Why did you go on a date? Why did you take? You can't go. And this is a tip.
You got that extra shot.
Take no woman and don't take you two girls. Don't take no woman on a date when you know you ain't got no money. When you gotta budget it out. And women, make sure you always come in with some money on you, baby, because you never know when that man might be like.
Damn, girl, I forgot my wallet.
My wallet ain't with me.
So Queen, seriously,
cash out me $5 real quick.
No, Queen, serious question.
Y'all take Apple Pay?
Go ahead, Dr. Vac.
Serious question. So is that common today for sisters when you all go on date that number one, a brother could expect you to pay, or number two, you as sisters expect to pay? Now,
I will say, when I was younger, I understand this when I was younger. I was dating, we was fresh out of college. Everybody was looking for jobs. People ain't got money. So I always made sure I had my own just in case a guy would pull the, it's about 40, 35. So did you want to go ahead and split that? How did you want to? I'm ready. I'm not going to talk to this guy again, but I'm ready. I understand that we just don't got it. Now, when I got older, I understood that at this time, when you're dating as an older person, no matter how you're dating, like if you're just dating people just to have a one-night stand, or if you're just taking women out, for whatever reason, whatever the reason may be, in the women too, you need to be, now you got to start dating, because that's your intentions. This is your intentions when you're dating with intentions, whatever your intentions may be. If you taking a woman out to anywhere, if you ask the woman, hey, let me take you out on a date, have that money. Don't be asking women out, and don't be trying to date women without having no money. It don't make no sense to me when you're an older person. But yes, today there's an argument.
The not having any money part?
Today, there's an argument going on the socials that women shouldn't be expecting men to pay for anything, ever. Now, I just naturally am like that, but I thank God that in my last relationship, that man, when it came to that, he wasn't the best man, but when it came to me needing anything or whatever, I never needed for anything. But when it comes to there's this conversation online where they're saying women need to stop expecting men to pay. That's making them come off as gold diggers or whatever the case may be. This is this conversation that's weird. And for me, I'm a little old school in that department. If I'm dating a man or whatever the case may be, and he asked me out, I'm expecting you to pay for it.
Yeah. Okay. So
you invited me. If you invite me to something, you pay for it. Yeah. You pay for it. Okay, I could have stayed at home.
Mm-hmm. So Queen, so here was a situation with me where a sister invited me to dinner, and of course I accepted to go to dinner, except that the idea that, it didn't get where it got ugly, but she wanted to pay, and I was like, sister, I can't. She was like, Carl, I asked you to dinner. I said, I get that, and we could do this. But it just messes with my manhood that you want to pay. That I would allow you to pay. So I appreciate it, but I need. So we went tit-tat for like that. But then she acquiesced and I paid for it. So tell me, is it offensive if you ask a brother out, but then you insist on paying and he refuses to accept that?
I think now that's where you just got to tone down. It doesn't make you less of a man. I know it's good. Now, it made her feel good that he said he wanted to pay. I know that he can always cover it. I know that when we go out next time, he's definitely going to be that man that takes care of home. You know what I'm saying? Make sure his woman is good. But in this particular moment, if I'm saying, I asked you out, I offered you to come on to dinner, and I'm saying I want to pay, let me pay. It doesn't make you less of a man, and it can come off offensive. But sometimes, and just to lessen the heat in the moment, we're just like, all right, just go ahead and pay. Let her pay, and you should feel good about it. Because now you rocking with somebody that could hold it down, and just, she's doing her thing. Look at it in that moment where, okay, baby, go ahead and pay. Yeah, you want to pay? I'm going to pay. No, I'm
going to be honest with you. It's something that I'm going to seriously have to think about. Because it is not I got to give that some real thought. But I'm listening to you, Queen, and a lot of what you just said to me, I promise you, it'll go certainly into my consideration of it. So maybe I could draw down like that. But thank you for the lesson there. I have listened to that, baby girl.
Jesus Christ!
It doesn't make you less of a man. It's okay.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad gays don't have to go through none of this shit. If I invite you out, you pay. If you invite me out, you pay. Or vice versa. We sit at a table. Like, you want to split it? Okay, cool. Let's split. Oh, now I'm like, no, I got it. We cool. I'm so glad we ain't got to go through none of this shit.
Y'all be splitting at the table though.
Jay,
huh?
You
it depends, man. Like if we cool, like it depends. Like if I got to do, I'm not going to invite you nowhere. Yeah, if I know that I got it, I'm not going to invite you where and expect you to pay for it. So if I invite you, I'm going to pay for it. If you invite me, I still don't expect you to pay for it, because just in case I'm going to have my own. But if it is one of those things we agree to split it, we agree to split it. Like, we can split it down the middle if you want to. Even on the date. That's why gays is a whole nother different type of level, baby. We ain't got to worry about none of that shit.
Really? Because but Bubba, I'll tell you though, my friend who is a very, very, he's gay, but he's very ostentatious, and he's like, no, I'm trying to be flued out, not on my own dime, on some other person's dime. And usually it's a man, and I'm trying to be flued out on a man's dime. He don't like to pay for nothing, not a damn thing. So he's one of those.
Them exist a lot too, child.
There it is. There it is.
That's a whole nother them scammers.
Wait, I hear the voice of God. What's that, Dwayne?
Scammers?
What's that, Dwayne?
I said Rebecca about to take it to a whole nother conversation. Because I'm with you on the whole dinner thing.
You with the book? Did we do
the flued out part? We got.
Oh yeah,
right.
No, that's a whole different thing. Well, in one future episode, I'll tell y'all about this sister from Canada who wanted to flew me out back at the beginning of the internet. I did, this is back in like 90 when we, that's how old I am. But that's a whole nother story for a whole
AOL Messenger.
Day. We got Brother Mac. We'll compare notes when we're off air. Show tonight. Patron party tonight.
Yeah, patron party tonight. Yes.
AOL.
I don't know if y'all remember AOL chat, man. Jesus.
Oh my God,
I met her on AOL
chat. I was 11 years old, and thank you, Jesus, that there have been some changes in that world. But those creepers on AOL chat, they were just freely open on AOL chat.
Talking about some ASL.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That's how my daddy would be like.
That's how it always used to start.
This show is so. I love it though. We go from quantitative easing in Ukraine and Russia, all the way down to where we are now. I don't even know where we are, but it's an amazing.
I'm glad that we had that conversation. Look,
it's
all of us date different. See, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Black is not a monolith. All of us date different, and all of us have been in different types of relationships and things like that. I love to see it. I love to hear it. And there's nothing wrong with how we date. Like, Bubba, I think it's weird that you may go out with somebody and split it, but it's normal in your
It's very normal. Or I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I'll say this. Either that is one of those things where we say, I'll pay for dinner, you pay for the movie, or vice versa. We work it out. If we don't have an issue, it made the dream work. Because all that extra stuff sometimes, because y'all females, I love y'all to death. Girl, y'all complicated.
See?
I love y'all.
Wasn't that a Robin Thicke song? A Robin
We all
Thicke song
have different ways of dating, Dr. Mac. You are just a man's man. Sometimes it's like, hey, I know you are the man, Dr. Mac, but it's okay for a woman to just want to take care of you too. That's all right. But there ain't nothing wrong with you being the way you are either, because there women like that. Women like that. Ben, you're married. Me. Lord,
sorry, Benjamin. Lord, it's me again.
Lord, it's me, oh Lord.
We are at the end of the show. It is Friday. You said it's a patron party today?
Patron party tonight.
Yeah. Rebecca, you coming?
What time?
No.
Careful. 9 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m.
Dr. Mac is coming. I think Dr. Mac might drop through. Mama Gwen's going to be there. We there. I'm there tonight. Bubba's there tonight. And Mama Gwen's going to be there tonight. Rebecca's going to come through and say hi. She's going to wink at us and keep going to the rest of her life. Anything else?
Keep moving.
Get out of here. It's Friday. We off on Monday.
No. But I will tell you this. It was, Queen, you couldn't have put it better about the differences of it all. But my generation, I don't necessarily know if it's my generation, but there are things about me that are a certain way. A woman can't touch her door. She never walks on the outside to the streets. I never sit with my back to the door. I always pay. But, I got to listen to this side of if a woman. But then again, I'm not dating women in your generation. I'm dating older school women in my generation. And I'm not sure they see it that way.
I'm glad you can say that.
Maybe they do.
I ain't dating.
You have to tell me about that.
Yeah, and I ain't dating dudes in the younger generation, and what? Because it's all crazy out there. It's in the younger generation is only, but it ain't even that far from me. But those people are crazy. I can't go out there in that world and date because they don't know how to be. But I know that's how your generation is probably looking at us too. But that generation,
right?
They don't know how to do it. They out there in the wild with no instructions, and they don't have. I'm like, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. We're at the end of the show. I know.
Now you want to end. You want to end
I gotta go.
They out here with no home training, no guidance. They just out here doing it. God damn it.
Generation Z will attack me, and they will say that they're triggered, and I don't got time for it. I am out of here. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys on Tuesday.
Y'all send this girl some cash app. No. What is your cash app, Rebecca?
My cash app is Becca's Voice.
My God, today, if y'all don't drop this girl this woman, this black queen, some cash apps for blessing us today. Run some music, DJ exclusive patron party tonight. And my doors are open because it's time for me to teach kids homeschool. We'll see y'all on Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Man, I can't stand y'all. I love y'all. Mean it, y'all. Hey, man, happy Friday once again to everybody. Y'all make sure that y'all enjoy the day. What the hell? How did I forget about this song? Y'all enjoy y'all Friday, man. Y'all affirmation for the day. Okay. Y'all affirmation. I deserve everything I want. I deserve everything I want. Y'all gonna be great today, man. Enjoy your day. We will see y'all tonight at the Patron party, 9 p.m. It's going down. If you want access and you're not a Patreon member, y'all make sure that y'all hit one of us up and maybe we'll slide y'all a week. We'll see. Who knows? Love y'all, mean it. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Deuces.
No money, and me say best things in life are free. Bam bam diddle diddle, best things in life are free. All the bread up on the tree, they sing it sweet and melody. All the fishes that they Caribbean, see them sing best things in life are free.